God tier genius, building mechas starting from a repair shop. Hello again, dear adventurers of the multiverse. Thanks for joining us once more on this epic journey. Remember, this story is pure science fiction from our wild imagination. So don't go trying to summon dragons in your backyard. The rights of this amazing novel belong entirely to its original author. We are only the narrators. Do you want more adventures? Show some love to our YouTube channel with a subscription and a like. And if you want exclusive content, our Patreon is waiting for you with open arms. Chapter 76 Fang Heng can stand shoulder to shoulder with top experts. Hu Zhiggia, he had established a connection between it and the bracelet he wore. The website would vibrate whenever it was attacked by unknown traffic. Fang Heng, this, Zhang Guojian asked anxiously, watching Fang Heng frantically pull out his phone and laptop. Hu Zhiggia, the website is under attack by unknown traffic, a jolt ran through Zhang Guojian's heart. He knew very well the importance of the Hu Zhiggia website. He had an account there and could access its contents. Every time he read the published notes, he felt a sudden enlightenment. But now this website containing such important information had received unknown traffic. No. This website absolutely could not be lost. Fang Heng didn't say anything at this moment, but simply sat down and began typing furiously on the keyboard. Lines of code and fragments of information appeared on the computer screen. Everyone held their breath, staring intently at the screen. Although many of them were computer experts, with Fang Heng personally overseeing things, they were essentially out of the picture. Fang Heng, though frowning, wasn't panicked. On the contrary, he was remarkably calm. He quickly identified the IP address of the unknown traffic source and traced its MAC address through the network tunnel. It clearly showed, Megao. Damn it, the professors couldn't help but exclaim. Meanwhile, inside Megao's network department, 6 guys were furiously typing away at their computers. Their demeanor immediately revealed them to be network experts. Indeed, they were network experts personally recruited by Megao's leader. Each had a glorious past. The leader, Kai, was known as the father of Black K on Blue Star. He used to boast that there was no place he couldn't go on the network. He once caused the network systems and servers of top-tier technology companies on Earth, such as Norwegian Chicken Duck, Clothing Tong, Metaglola, and so on, to be flooded with unexplained traffic. Even their official management systems bore his mark. The second person, also a renowned expert in the network world, while not as prolific as Kai, once extracted the most valuable data from the most secure database system. This alone was enough to earn the Megao leadership's high regard. The third person, unlike the previous two, specialized in destroying data. He once developed a software program that crashed all online systems in the local market. The last person's experience was somewhat similar to the third, but his skills were even more impressive. He also specialized in developing computer programs. He once developed a program that he implanted into the Megao research department, causing the loss of all important data and a complete blackout of all computers. And he was also the strangest person present. Because he's currently wearing Lori's clothes. He's the leader of the Megao, specifically recruited from Lori to fight for this cause. If this succeeds, he won't need to go back there anymore, and he'll receive a very generous reward. The 6 people present are all top-tier network experts on Earth. When they received the Megao leader's personal invitation, they thought they were going to encounter some particularly formidable opponents. But upon arriving, they discovered that they were dealing with a mere young upstart. And the destination for the data they needed to obtain was the website system that young upstart had created himself. Isn't this a piece of cake? Exactly. I thought it would be some serious problem. Inviting us to do something like this, isn't that a joke? If it weren't for the very generous reward, I wouldn't have bothered. I didn't want people saying I was bullying a junior. That's exactly right. If it weren't for the fact that I never want to go back there again, I wouldn't bother with this. We've all retired from this business. After a brief complaint, the group patted their chests confidently and said to the leader of the Megao, "Sir, don't worry about this. Leave it to us. This is a piece of cake. Give us 5 minutes, and we'll have it done. Thank you for your hard work. Don't worry, once you've completed this, you'll all get Megao green cards, and everything we promised you won't be missing." Ha ha ha. Hearing their confident answers, the leader of Megao was overjoyed and couldn't help but give them a generous reward. Easier said than done. As they sat down and began to use Fang Heng's website system, they couldn't help but frown. Holy crap, amazing, That guy's got something special. This system is far more advanced than we imagined. Wow, incredible, incredible. I never expected this system's security detection to be so high. Ha ha ha, 40 years, 40 years. Finally we've met a worthy opponent. Unlike ordinary people, these network experts had lived like lone wolves for decades, feeling utterly alone and lonely. But now, suddenly, they'd found a network system that amazed them. The more advanced the system, the more excited they became, the more secure it was, the more motivated they were. They hadn't felt this way in a long time. Ha ha ha, I'm just afraid it's not secure enough, afraid it's not perfect enough. Exactly. Even if the other side has the most secure system, as long as I have a computer, I can fulfill your dream, Kai said with a confident, hearty laugh. If that brat lived in our time, maybe he could have stood shoulder to shoulder with us. But unfortunately, he's met us now, and the data on that website is destined to be ours. Young man, I'm sorry, what seemed like an extremely difficult task to the leader of the Miguel group was still a matter of wit and humor in front of these network experts. Chapter 77 successfully accessed the website. Download progress has reached 99%. Meanwhile, on the other side, Fang Heng suddenly stopped after his series of maneuvers. What? How is Fang Heng now? Should we call the security department for help? Yeah, we know the security of the Huazi Mech website. How could they get in so quickly? This is definitely not simple. Maybe it was a premeditated, malicious intrusion. Damn it, those bastards only wanted the materials on the website. They wanted our technology. We should have known better than to put our technology on the website. It's too unsafe. But technology needs to be disseminated. It needs innovation. Without a certain level of popularization, our new technology will have difficulty developing further. So what should we do now? We don't even know who they brought in. Old Joe, the most impatient of them all, was as anxious as an ant on a hot pan. The other professors, though expressionless, were all very serious. They knew this was no small matter. But the more serious the situation, the more they needed to remain calm. PFFT, Fang Heng, what time is it? You're still looking at this? Seeing Fang Heng's two double taps, Old Joe quickly rubbed his eyes, unable to believe he had seen it with his own eyes. It turned out that after doing some code maintenance, Fang Heng simply stopped. He directly opened a music player and started playing a very sad song. The atmosphere at the scene was already very oppressive, and hearing the song's low rhythm and suffocating melody made everyone feel even more uncomfortable. Hearing Old Joe's words, Fang Heng shook his head and didn't say anything. At this moment, Zhang Guojian frowned. He knew that Fang Heng would never do something meaningless. If he did this, there must be a reason. As for what that reason was, Zhang Guojian took 2 steps forward and asked in a deep voice, Fang Heng, what are you doing? Does this have anything to do with the current website? Fang Heng turned to look at Zhang Guojian, not answering directly, but pausing before asking in return. Old Zhang, do you remember what happened at Sea in the Sky more than 10 years ago? A jolt ran through him. Although Zhang Guojian didn't immediately understand what Fang Heng was referring to, he had a vague feeling. Could it be that incident from back then? That happened at Sea in the Sky. It has to be said, those guys in the Miguel network department are really capable. Only a short while after Fang Xing stopped maintaining the code, they had already successfully entered the Huazi Higgo website. Hey, sir, come quick. At this moment, we have officially connected to the Huazi Higgo internal website. We have clicked to download the relevant technical data, and the progress has now reached 75%, almost successful. Holy crap, looking at the progress bar on the public screen, the Miguel leader was overjoyed. He couldn't help but exclaim, holy crap, little reading, low culture, forgive him for using holy crap to conquer the world. Not just the leader of the Miguel team, everyone present was staring intently at the screen, their eyes fixed on it like predators. Although they didn't understand the internet, they understood progress bars. They all knew that success was just around the corner. If this step succeeded, it meant they would soon be able to build their own mechas, and their glory would return. Download progress is currently 80%. Download progress is currently 98%. Download progress has reached 99%. From some point on, the people present unconsciously started counting down. The leader of the Miguel team, hearing the countdown around him, felt a shiver run down his spine. The huge weight that had been hanging over his heart for so long could finally be lifted. From the moment that progress reached 100%, he would no longer have to worry, and from then on he could speak freely on various forums. At this moment, the most relaxed were undoubtedly the top network experts. They were currently basking in the joy of victory. Several of them picked up their coffee cups, downed them in a cheerful gulp, their expressions a stark contrast to those around them. Ha ha ha, that was awesome. That was truly exhilarating. Yeah, that kid Fang Heng is a real genius. He managed to create such a secure network system in such a short time. I work with cybersecurity software, and I dare say that kid's system can protect against 99.99% of cybersecurity software in the world. But, the guy paused, smiling without saying a word, then spoke with great pride. Unfortunately for him, he ran into us, and we happened to be the top experts capable of developing that 0.01% of cybersecurity software. He finished speaking and stroked his blonde hair. At this moment, Kai took a sip of coffee and said with a smile, "Yeah, that guy is so young and he's already reached this level. I can't even imagine what kind of monstrous level he'll reach if he continues to develop. He's just unlucky to have run into us this time. We're definitely going to get the data from the website, and we'll do it without anyone knowing. Fang Heng will never know that we've already entered his website, and he'll keep putting data in there." After hearing him say this, the other experts quickly chimed in. "We really want to see what kind of expression Fang Heng will have when he sees that we've developed the mecha. Do you think he'll cry, laugh, or be caught between laughter and tears?" Ha 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 ha. Every guy in the Miguo network department was calculating their own plans. Miguo's leader was still staring intently at the progress bar on the screen. At this moment, the progress had reached 99%, and now only 1% remained. Whether they succeeded depended on this last point. Then, as the saying goes, the last 1% is often the hardest and most error-prone, and so it is. At that moment, they all held their breath, silently chanting, "We must succeed," silently praying. Chapter 78. After all that effort, several top internet users only got a few animated films. Miguo, Network Department. A deathly silence fell over the scene. Finally, someone shouted out the words they had been eagerly anticipating. "Holy crap, 100%, holy crap, we did it. We did it." A thunderous shout jolted everyone awake. Instantly, everyone cheered, their faces beaming with smug smiles. Ha ha ha, damn it, we finally succeeded. Our era has returned. Mechas, high-energy batteries, high-energy laser cannons, ha ha ha, all of these are ours now, all of them are ours. Accompanying their cunning smiles was thunderous applause. "Quick, open it. Open it so I can see." At this moment, the Miguo leader couldn't wait to see it. Of course, opening files was definitely not something those network experts would do. They had already gracefully retired, becoming spectators like many others, watching the screen with anticipation. "Yes, boss." Upon hearing the boss's order, the network technicians quickly responded. They then began preparing to open the file. Watching the mouse move on the computer screen, the atmosphere returned to one of tense, breathless silence. No one dared to make a sound, as if the slightest noise would change the outcome. Click, click, with 2 clicks of the mouse, the screen changed instantly. But the next second, everyone's expression changed, their eyes filled with confusion. It turned out that after the technician double-clicked, the screen didn't display any mecha files at all, but instead played a video. Suddenly, 7 men with thick eyebrows and large eyes appeared on the large monitor. Huluwa, 7 guards on one vine, not afraid of wind and rain. La 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 la, ding dong 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 dong, Huluwa, ding dong 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 dong. Great skills. Listening to this sound coming from the computer, everyone was completely dumbfounded. What the hell is this? The head of the Miguo team instantly became furious. What the hell are you doing? What the hell are you doing? I told you to play the mecha files, the battery files, effing. What are you showing me now? Aha, the head of the Miguo team felt like he was about to explode with anger. What's going on? Why is it suddenly playing cartoons? Even the network expert Kai frowned when he saw this. Did you play the wrong thing? Did you forget to close the background? Under the gaze of everyone present, the technician instantly cowered. He pointed to the screen, then to himself, looking hesitant and unable to speak. I don't know what's going on. Fuck, you played this yourself, how could you not know? The technician was immediately rebuked by the head of the group. Seeing the terrified looks on their faces, Kai couldn't bear to frighten them further. He forced a smile and said reassuringly, Maybe you played the wrong thing. Regardless of the reason, the most important thing now is to get the file out. Turn this animation off. After you turn it off, make sure you don't play any more of these. We need the mecha files, the ones we just downloaded. After saying this, Kai felt like he could become an elementary school teacher. Damn it, if he understood after all this explanation, and he still played the wrong thing, then, get lost. Okay, the technician agreed, his heart pounding. His attention returned to the computer screen, looking at the file he had just opened. They just downloaded these files. Did I click on something else? Impossible. I only clicked on this. The technician's hand, which was moving his watch, trembled slightly. He widened his eyes, making sure the files were indeed the ones they had just downloaded before opening them. Although he was certain the file he had just played was also downloaded, he dared not open it again. He was afraid that if he opened it again, it would be the same, and he would be in deep trouble. This time he was smarter. He didn't select the first or last file, but chose a file in the middle, ready to open it. Click, because the room was very quiet, the sound of him clicking the mouse could be clearly heard by everyone. Before anyone could even look at the computer, a lively sound came from the screen. A flashy second and the scissors are drawn. A cheap trick counters a cheap trick. The target can't escape. Using 4 ounces to deflect 1,000 pounds, the assassin still upholds justice. Kill the enemy if they stand in your way. Kill the chicken if it blocks your way. Kill the chicken. Kill the chicken. Kill the chicken. Can anyone tell me what this is this time? Reporting, sir. This is an animated film. I've seen it before. It's about a down-on-his-luck assassin on a small island who lives a life of constant danger, killing chickens whenever he sees one. Fuck, fuck. While the leader of the group was still cursing fuck, Kai had already reached his breaking point. Assassin? Scissors? Cheap chicken killing chicken. Fuck, I'll cut your chicken in a minute. This time, Kai wasn't as easy to talk to as before, and he went up to the technician and kicked him directly. Boom, the technician was kicked directly from his chair to the ground by Kai. I have to do even this little thing? I really don't understand what you guys are good for, and I can't even imagine how you got here in the first place, he grumbled as he sat down in front of the computer. This time, he decided to open it himself. He refused to believe he'd make a mistake again. He wasn't that unlucky. After all, he'd been around for decades and had never made such a basic error. A master is indeed a master. He remained completely calm under pressure, his hand holding the mouse as steady as a rock. Click, Kai double-clicked to open the file, but, oh no, he'd clearly clicked on a SQL file, but why did the computer automatically switch to a movie player? Chapter 79 Invite the enemy into the urn, and catch the turtle in the urn. In the research conference room in Kyushu, Zhang Guojian asked, so, which matter were you referring to just now? Zhang Guojian had something in mind, but wasn't entirely sure. Fang Heng moved his lips slightly and then said, sea area, sky, airplane, pilot, Wang Wei. Fang Heng didn't recount the whole story, but rather rhythmically uttered these words. Each word Fang Heng uttered sent a jolt through everyone's hearts. Finally, they were certain that Fang Heng was referring to that matter. At that time, in terms of technology, the country was impoverished and everything needed to be rebuilt, especially in aviation and flight personnel. The skies were extremely unstable at that time, yet an excellent pilot, flying a relatively outdated aircraft, protected the home front. The J-8 fighter jet. He truly triumphed over high technology with technology, protecting the home front with his own true strength. He protected peace and tranquility. Calling HA-8, this is DDD. You have a new mission. Please return. I will take over the mission here. Please return. Please return. This is HA-8, received, but unable to return. HA-8 cannot return temporarily. You continue forward. I'm here. Repeat, you continue forward. I'm here. HA-8 ultimately protected peace and stability at the greatest cost. His deeds deserve everyone's respect and admiration. To this day, upon hearing those heart-stirring words, everyone cannot help but shed tears. A salute to the predecessors, a salute to the heroes. As they slowly recalled, Zhang Guojian and everyone present gradually had tears in their eyes. After an unknown amount of time, Lao Zhou suddenly noticed an anomaly on Fang Heng's computer. The command line code, which had stopped running, was now rapidly appearing. But Fang Heng wasn't operating the computer at this moment, so there was only one possibility. That the other side had entered. Oh no, Old Joe shouted in his heart and rushed to Fang Heng to tell him anxiously. Fang Heng, your computer is beeping again. They might have already entered the website. Hurry. Seeing Lao Zhou's anxious appearance, Fang Heng calmly said, "It's okay, let them in. I'm afraid they won't dare to come in." "Oh, Fang Heng, then, what do you mean by that? We have a lot of very important data in there, mechas, high-energy batteries, and your new invention. If they get their hands on it, the consequences will be unimaginable." At this moment, Zhang Guojian slowly opened his mouth and said to Lao Zhou, "Calm down. Fang Heng definitely has his methods. He must have his reasons for doing this. Let's hear what he has to say." Fang Heng slowly stood up from his chair and walked step by step to the computer. "Actually, you don't need to worry. Everything is under my control now, although it seems that they have already entered our website and can download our data." But, as he spoke, Fang Heng suddenly turned around and asked expressionlessly, "But what if I let them in on purpose?" Thump. Boom. Boom. Hearing this, Old Joe's pupils dilated instantly, his face filled with disbelief as he stared at Fang Heng. This, completely stunned, he could only stammer for a long time, unable to utter a complete sentence. Fang Heng ignored his expression and continued, "I didn't want to deal with them, but since they're here, I have to treat them well. Friends come from afar, though far away. We will surely punish them. We won't offend others unless they offend us. If they offend us, we will retaliate." This was Fang Heng's inner spirit, his inherent character. Although he didn't usually like to take advantage of the rich, if anyone bullied him, he would be the first to not allow it. "Don't worry, there's definitely going to be a good show. Although it looks like he's entered our website now, it's actually fake content. They're gradually getting deeper into this trap. Ultimately, they'll pay the price for their malicious actions." Hearing Fang Heng say this, everyone present felt a sense of relief, a feeling of triumph. Meanwhile, at Migo, in the network department, the network expert Kai was now personally overseeing the process. He sat in front of the computer, frowning. If the first time it was just a technician accidentally playing the wrong thing, that would be understandable, but the second time, it was very likely that the program had been tampered with. And the most likely culprit was the technician, because he was the first person besides them to access this important data. Thinking this, Kai's hands moved rapidly. He needed to check if the program really had a problem. Click, click, accompanied by a series of keyboard clicks, his check results were quickly available. But the results showed the program was working perfectly, with no signs of tampering. PFFT, this is strange, really strange, Kai frowned, staring at the screen. Just to be on the safe side, he ultimately decided to download the data from the website again, discarding the problematic article. He immediately stood up and explained to the head of the Migo team, "Given the errors in the previous 2 downloads, I suspect there's something wrong with the program, so I suggest we download the data from the website again." The head of the Migo team hesitated for a moment, but ultimately waved his hand. "Then hurry up." The head of the Migo team was already impatient, but to get a problem-free file and data, he was willing to wait a little longer. Having received the head of the Migo team's approval, Kai returned to his seat and immediately began the second round of downloading. With the experience from the first time, they quickly downloaded the file the second time, and this time, Kai personally handled the entire process, ensuring there wouldn't be any problems. So after downloading, Kai didn't hesitate at all and immediately opened a file. But the next second, he collapsed. Chapter 80. Want to fight back? Not a chance. Kai himself was instantly stunned as he stared at the computer screen, as if he were witnessing something utterly impossible. His hand holding the mouse trembled uncontrollably. He stammered, barely able to speak. The first thing displayed on the screen was an airplane. 1,000-strong fighter jet. The plane circled and flew back and forth over the sea, its appearance clearly indicating it was protecting the peace of the area. Then, a young and handsome pilot appeared. He was piloting this plane on a mission. This mission would be his last. Although it had been quite a while, it had left a deep impression on many. This is the pilot, the one who appeared earlier. That's him, no doubt about it. Within a few breaths, people at the scene instantly recognized the young man's appearance and identity. Clearly, he was already famous. His friends were proud, honored, and regretful for him, while his opponents were terrified by his courageous act. His bravery showed others that technology could be just as powerful. They were capable of completing their mission. HMPH, seeing this, The leader of the Miguel group was practically bursting with rage. He had originally intended to obtain information and data from Fang Heng's website, but he hadn't expected to download the same things repeatedly, information that infuriated him. And the last time, a network expert, Kai, had personally intervened. He had thought that this time, the probability of success was high, but now, the content that opened above infuriated the leader of the Miguel group even more than the cartoons played the previous 2 times. He felt utterly inadequate, and his anger flared up on the spot. Oh my god, Mr. Kai, what are you doing? Where's the data you promised, sir? I don't know either, but I assure you this data really was downloaded from the original website, and I didn't let anyone else access it during the process. Kai was now completely panicked. He had been following the orders of the Miguel boss. If things had gone smoothly, that would have been fine. But now it looked like things were going to go wrong. And, the other side was the boss, and he wouldn't care how advanced your network technology was. After all, he possessed absolute power, capable of crushing all network technology. He might not even be able to leave this network department today. Oh my god, damn it, and the result? Look at this. As he spoke, the Miguel boss brought his stubble-covered face close to Kai's. Only a centimeter away. If he moved any closer, his stubble would poke Kai's face. No, I already feel disrespected. This time, we can't just focus on getting data. Since they're so disrespectful, we don't need to give them any face either. It has to be said, this leader of the Miguel is incredibly shameless. He dares to say such things so brazenly. But there's no way around it. This is Miguel, and he's the leader, the most powerful, possessing the greatest authority. We have to teach them a lesson, Kai. Give them a taste of their own medicine. If you can make them suffer the same fate, I'll let bygones be bygones. Otherwise, you know what will happen. HMPH. In the end, the Miguel leader snorted directly through his nostrils. He almost snorted the fertilizer from his nose onto Kai. Of course, at this moment, he was trembling. No longer possessing the confidence and composure he had at the beginning. He lowered his head and silently listened to the Miguel leader's orders, so he didn't notice the fertilizer quietly landing on his shoulder. Okay, sir, we can easily make them do this, but if we use this website, the data inside might, Kai said with some worry, his probing revealing the true meaning behind the Miguel leader's words. If he simply wanted them to experience the effects of this kind of epigram, he could do it easily. After all, each of them had an extraordinary understanding of that kind of software. Fuck, Mr. Kai, what time is it now? You still care about the data inside, HMPH, as they say, better to die a glorious death than live a shameful life. Since we can't have it, they shouldn't have it either. Just go for it. If you need an assistant or anything else, our entire Miguel network department can cooperate with you. But it was clear that this time, the Miguel leader was truly furious. At this moment, he seemed to have lost his mind, lost the ability to think. Okay, this time, Kai didn't say anything more, but turned around and sat directly on the computer. Seeing this, the other network experts returned to their seats and began typing furiously. Unlike before, this time they were all serious, their faces devoid of any ease. It wasn't that they thought creating certain epigrams was difficult, but they had a feeling this wouldn't be so simple. A few quarters of an hour later, I have successfully deployed the smoke epigram to the other side. Once activated, all data files on the other side's system will be contaminated. The spider has successfully crawled into the opponent's database and is accessing the core engine. I have successfully modified the opponent's system kernel state, and it can run our privileged commands at any time. For a moment, only the voices of those network experts echoed throughout the entire network department. Profound network terminology flowed from their lips. It seemed they were determined to complete this mission. HMPH, you think you can mess with me? You're still too green. Looking at the computer screen of the network expert, displaying its impressive results, the leader of the Miguel gang finally relaxed a little, speaking with a disdainful expression. Then, just as he finished speaking, fuck, who the hell is yelling fuck? Who the hell? The leader of the Miguel gang had barely finished speaking when he heard fuck, and his anger flared up again. But before he could retaliate, a piece of terrible news came from the network expert's side. It's terrible, the wolf smoke has come back through the channel, fuck. Chapter 81 Computer Screen, please apologize for your behavior. Fuck, didn't you create the smoke screen yourself? How did it come back? The smoke screen spread from one computer to all the others. In just a few breaths, all the computers in the network department were contaminated by the smoke screen. Keep in mind, these are the computers in the MIGO network department. They're completely different from ordinary computers on the market. They're equipped with ultra-high-level protection systems, firewalls, and the best antivirus software. But now, fuck, are you mistaken? How did you send the smoke screen to our own computers? Seeing this situation, Kai exploded on the spot. I don't know what happened either. I clearly sent it out, but I don't know why it. This network expert had poured his life's work into developing this top-tier electronic program, Smokescreen. As the producer and owner of Smokescreen, he considered himself extremely familiar with this software, but in this situation, he was helpless. He had never encountered a backlash before. Kai, what are you guys up to now? What are you talking about again? Are you guys failing, huh? The leader of the MIGO wasn't very knowledgeable about this kind of core network technology, but from their eyes, he already sensed that something was seriously wrong. No, sir, it's just a small problem, please don't worry, we'll fix it right away. In that instant, Kai's mind was filled with 1,000 damn it, is this what they mean by the nail that sticks out gets hammered down? It wasn't his fault, but because he was the leader of this mission, so, the MIGO leader always pushed everything onto him. Kai, let me tell you, I'm extremely dissatisfied with your current progress. If you can't complete this mission, then you're all fired. A hint of malice flashed in the leader of the MIGO, who said angrily, never stay in our MIGO again, PFFT. Hearing this, Kai didn't waste any more words and immediately pulled the others along. They needed to deal with this smoke signal first before launching their attack. Quick, activate the backup firewall, system antivirus running automatically, damn it, fight fire with fire. Suddenly, a series of crackling sounds came from the scene. In that instant, all the computers connected to the network went black one after another. Fuck, what the hell is going on? The leader of the MIGO was truly exasperated. He felt like his blood vessels were about to burst. Since the computers went black, all the sponsors had been frantically pounding on their keyboards. But without exception, their actions were completely ineffective. It's over. Kai's legs went weak, and he collapsed to the ground with a thud. It's over. At this moment, he was on the verge of a mental breakdown, his words slurred, only able to mutter to himself. Because, at this moment, their network department's computers had been completely controlled by the other side. This result was even worse than all the computers being destroyed. Damaged computers at most result in data loss, but if the computers were controlled by someone else, that meant someone else had scanned all the data on them. If it were an ordinary computer, it wouldn't be so bad, but this was the network department's computer. And the most advanced kind at that. Who knows how much secret project data and information was stored on it. Now, they really had tried to steal a chicken but lost their rice instead. Kai dared not say a word. He absolutely dared not tell the head of the MIGO. Because he knew that if the head of the MIGO found out, he was finished. Utterly finished. Just when Kai thought he was in dire straits, suddenly, a green light flashed in the corner of his eye, reviving his spirits. The computer was restarting. The restart screen was exactly the same as before, without any difference. It was as if the black screen crash had never happened. Could it be that my security program worked? Kai suddenly shuddered and stood up again. If that were the case, then, the other side definitely hadn't controlled our computers. But Kai's joy was short-lived. After the computer restart program finished, it didn't display the desktop. Instead, it was forced into a special state. The computer screen was now empty, but one sentence stood out prominently. Please apologize for your actions. Please apologize for your actions. Please apologize in an instant. All the computers connected to the network department's local area network experienced the same situation. Hey, network team leader, what's going on over there? Why is the network down? Hey, why is my computer out of control? The screen is only showing one sentence. Fuck, network team leader? Do you even want to keep your job? You dare ask me to apologize? All the data in my team is gone, worth over 300 million yuan. The network team leader's phone was bombarded with calls. Everyone calling him was someone of considerable status, each with their own urgent and important tasks. Before the network team leader could even speak, the other end was already spewing profanities. The network team leader could only listen meekly, his legs trembling and his heart pounding, not daring to say a word. What could he possibly say? The Miguel leader was right there. What could a mere network team leader like him possibly say? This time, the Miguel leader didn't speak, but simply stepped forward and glared fiercely at Kai and the others. Sir, this time we really... Kai wanted to say that he truly had no other choice, but he never expected that before he could finish speaking, the leader of the Lost Kingdom would preempt him. Men, take these good-for-nothings away, I don't want to see them on Lost Kingdom's land again, and spread this message. The Lost Kingdom leader had barely finished speaking when he shoved in some men resembling security guards. They grabbed Kai. No, sir, you can't do this, you can't. If that really happened, then, Kai would be in a terrible state. He had offended many people in his youth. If they knew that Kai was now crippled, then... If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 82: The Scheme of Substitution. Watching several of Blue Star's most renowned top-tier network experts being driven out by the Miguel leader, those remaining trembled with fear. They couldn't imagine what would happen next. Especially the team leader of the network department, the person in charge here. If anything happened, the Miguel leader would definitely not forgive him. Boss, then, what should we do now? The team leader's lips trembled as he spoke, revealing his utter terror. Now all the computers were under the enemy's control, and Kai and the others had been directly driven away by the Miguel leader. Could they rely on the original network department staff? No way. Their skills were all only rudimentary. They could manage to tinker with networks and show off normally, but now, this situation, they had never even seen anything like it before, let alone how to deal with it. Boss, how about we apologize to them? Fuck, the Miguel boss slapped him on the spot. Apologize. Are you going to apologize? Or am I? The team leader covered his instantly swollen face, too afraid to speak again. Team leader, how can you say that? We've only broken a few computers, don't forget our overall strength is still there. At this moment, a young man pouring coffee nearby muttered to himself. We still have powerful backup forces, how can we just say that? However, his words reached the Miguel boss's ears without missing a single one. There was no way around it, the scene was too quiet, you could hear a pin drop. Okay, the Miguel boss shouted. Okay, everyone present was stunned. What's wrong with the boss? Has the boss lost his mind? Why did his attitude suddenly change so drastically? Shocked, a small HUD with a big question mark in an instant, everyone's eyes lifted slightly, focusing entirely on the leader of the Miguel group. The leader of the Miguel group took a few steps forward and pulled the young man who had just poured coffee to the center. What's your name? Not only was the young man completely bewildered, but everyone present was also stunned. Why did the leader suddenly pull out a guy who poured coffee? Could a guy who poured coffee also fix computers? Little guy, how ridiculous. Reporting to the leader, my name is Wangba. Alright, you Wangba, you're really not a good person. Realizing he had misspoke, the leader of the Miguel group paused, then corrected himself, saying, Wangba, from today onwards, you are the head of the network department. Huh? Upon hearing this, Wangba's legs went weak, and he almost fell to the ground. Boss, is what you said really true? Wangba looked at Boss Miguel with a mixture of surprise and joy, his eyes filled with disbelief as he asked. He had been serving coffee here for 7 or 8 years, and he never imagined that one day he would become the department head, the head of the network department, a position even higher than the network team leader next door. Boss, this isn't right, is it? He's just a coffee server, he doesn't know anything. How can he be our department head? Not to mention anything else, he probably doesn't even know basic computer operations. How can he manage the network? When the network team leader heard that Boss Miguel was going to promote Wangba, the laborer he had been exploiting, to the position of head of the network department, he panicked instantly. How could he let a coffee server stand above him? This was absolutely unacceptable. Yes, boss, please think it over. Wangba can't do anything except pour coffee. He's completely incapable of handling our department's work. Exactly. A department head like that not only can't handle our work, but he could also negatively impact other projects. You know, our department provides services for other important research projects. We can't afford any mistakes in this. Actually, it wasn't just the network department leader who was nervous, the entire network department staff were tense. Because usually they were all superior to Wang Bing, but now, no. They absolutely wouldn't allow this to happen. HMPH, who said that just because he's the head of the network department he has to know technology and handle all the work? Who said that? So what if he's the head of the network department? You guys do the other work. If you don't do it well, you'll be held responsible. For some reason, the leader of the mecha team looked at these guys in front of him and felt increasingly annoyed, increasingly wanting to punch them. Do you know why I promoted him? Because only he realized we have abundant resources and strong overall strength, while you all just kept advocating for apologies and surrender. This shouldn't be your thinking. At this moment, the mecha leader was utterly exasperated. After berating them, the mecha leader suddenly turned around and said to Wang Bing with anticipation, "Wang Bing, I have a task for you. If you can successfully complete it, this ministerial position will definitely be yours, and no one can take it away." As he spoke, the mecha leader's face was filled with a resolute expression. "Okay, but what is the task you want me to complete, sir?" Although Wang Bing was just a coffee server, he wasn't stupid. He knew there was no such thing as a free lunch, and the mecha leader wouldn't promote him for no reason. Ha ha ha! A sly glint flashed across the leader's face, then he said mischievously, "This is very simple. You just need to publicly apologize to Fang Heng as the head of our network department, PFFT. PFFT, the others present couldn't help but rub their ears. What? Did I hear that right? What did the leader just say? Apologize. Apologize as the head of the network department, like this coffee pourer. PFFT. Huh. Ugh, I knew things weren't that simple. How could a coffee pourer just casually become a department head? So that's what the leader was planning. Just wait and see, there's more to come. Chapter 83. With a feather fan and silk turban, amidst laughter and conversation, enemy ships and forts were reduced to ashes. You just need to tell everyone that this whole incident was ordered by you, and has nothing to do with us, then you can sincerely apologize to them. The leader of the mecha spoke so casually, but to Wang Bing, it was anything but. Wasn't this just asking him to be a scapegoat? Leader, I'll just keep pouring coffee. After saying that, Wang Bing silently picked up the coffee cup again. Bang bang bang, suddenly. The leader of the mecha snatched a coffee cup from his hand and threw it hard on the ground, where it shattered instantly. HMPH, you bastard, I'm only calling you Wang Bing out of respect, otherwise you'd be less than a bastard. Whether you agree or not, you have to do it this time, otherwise, your consequences will be the same as that guy who was just kicked out. The leader of the mecha instantly became fierce and cunning, his previous harmless demeanor completely gone. You know, being the head of our network department isn't easy. This is the simplest test yet. If you can't even do this, Wang Bing, but, fuck. After swearing a few times, the head of the mecha group stopped arguing with him and turned to the network team leader. You guys hurry up and arrange the press conference. Just push him on stage then. After saying that, the head of the mecha group waved his sleeve and left. Damn it, he's completely lost face this time. Meanwhile, in the conference room of the Eastern Research Institute. Hiss. God, old Joe kept hovering in front of the computer, looking left and right, praising Fang Heng repeatedly. Fang Heng, old Joe, consider myself to be unique in this area. I didn't expect you to be even more unique than me. This operation is amazing. While saying this, old Joe also gave Fang Heng a thumbs up without reservation. Every time I'm with Fang Heng, there's always a surprise. Without exception. Ha, Fang Heng, old Zheng, never expected you to use this method. Ha, exactly, I bet all the computers on the other side are broken now. HMPH, they need to know that what they did was wrong, otherwise they'll keep gloating. But, speaking of which, Fang Heng, how did you do that? Yeah, teach us. Their epigram had already entered. How did you make it bounce back? And they even modified the computer's privileged instructions. Fang Heng, please teach us. In an instant, several professors surrounded Fang Heng, humbly asking for his guidance. Fang Heng, while stroking his computer keyboard, said thoughtfully, actually, it's not difficult to achieve this, because they fell into a little trick from the very beginning. Do you remember when they downloaded 2 rounds of data from us? At the time, you all thought they had actually entered our system. Fang Heng's gaze deliberately lingered on Lao Zhou. Sensing Fang Heng's gaze, Lao Zhou blushed, looking somewhat embarrassed. Actually, what they entered was just a pseudo-space I created, and what they downloaded wasn't core data or information at all. It was just the cartoon we were watching. What? A cartoon? The one we were just watching. Hearing this, everyone's pupils dilated instantly. Hiss, how did they do that? It's unbelievable. The professors looked at each other, exchanging bewildered glances, all seeing the shock in each other's eyes. At this moment, Zhang Guojian pondered for a moment. Then suddenly said with a sense of enlightenment, if I'm not mistaken, it's definitely not an ordinary cartoon file? Not ordinary animation files. Could it be? With a whoosh, everyone's gaze returned to Fang Heng. They all held their breath, afraid of missing a single word he said. Hearing Zhang Guojian's words, Fang Heng smiled slightly and continued to explain, that's right, those files all contain triggers and initiators. Simply put, they were just laying the groundwork for our later counterattack against the epigram they obtained. Amazing. The professor's eyes were filled with nothing but shock, and their hearts skipped a beat. Fang Heng's thinking was terrifying. It had only just begun, and he had already thought so far ahead. Hiss. The professors felt a chill run down their spines. Luckily, Fang Heng was from Kyushu, otherwise, if there had been someone like Fang Heng on the other side, then, the consequences were unimaginable. Then, Fang Heng, what's wrong with their computers? Are they all broken, or are they completely unusable? This question echoed the thoughts of everyone present, instantly piquing their interest. Fang Heng smiled slightly, not answering directly, but instead typing a few commands in the computer's command line. Enter, snap. Many small windows instantly appeared on Fang Heng's computer, each representing a different computer. Fang Heng clicked on one of the windows. All the computers on the other side are like this. The computers in the window were all black screens, but a sentence kept flashing and jumping. Please apologize for your actions. Damn, Fang Heng, you can even see what's going on over there. PFFT, what kind of monster are you from? This is too damn monster. Perhaps because old Joe and Fang Heng were close, old Joe couldn't help but use all sorts of strange words. Hey, do you think they'll apologize? Well, it's hard to say. It's just a few computers being operated. It hasn't affected them much. Knowing their stubbornness, at this moment, Fang Heng spoke up directly. They definitely will. They're the ones who know best what's good and bad. It's impossible. Fang Heng wanted to continue, but thought better of it and decided to keep it a secret. No rush, it'll be soon. Let's just wait. So confident. Does Fang Heng have a backup plan? Chapter 84, a classic case of crossing the river and then burning the bridge. A few days later, that hypocritical and helpless online troll appeared at the press conference and directly apologized to Fang Heng. Breaking news. Breaking news. Mi's online troll just held a press conference, and at the press conference, he's in such a hurry to hold the press conference, and he's actually apologizing to the genius young man Fang Heng. Breaking news. Breaking news. In an instant, this news spread throughout the entire Blue Star with lightning speed. Meanwhile, Mi also updated his status on a certain platform. Oh dear, the new troll, because he's too young, inexperienced, and doesn't know how to socialize, has done some things that don't conform to the rules. For this, we experienced staff feel very sorry, but Troll isn't a regular employee here, he's just arrived. From now on, we will definitely increase the intensity of performance evaluations, carefully select candidates, and will no longer allow such inexperienced and technically illiterate people to remain in this position. PFFT. PFFT. Me, as expected of him. He really came up with this idea perfectly. One moment they've put Wangba on the table, the next they've thrown him aside. Typical case of crossing the river and burning the bridge. Mi's post immediately shifted all the blame onto an outsider, Wangba, and even didn't forget to elevate himself at the end. Tisk tisk tisk. That kind of shamelessness is beyond the reach of ordinary people. After Wangba returns with a public apology, we will conduct a thorough investigation. Let me reiterate here that Wangba's matter has nothing to do with our Mi team. We are also victims. Because of this outsider Wangba's reckless actions, our network's computers have suffered significant losses. In his next post, Mi put on an even more poignant performance of self-pity. Only those who can't see through his tricks would feel sorry for him. No, It can't be like this. It's all fake, all fake. It's not real. No. After Wang Bing finished the press conference with a pounding heart, he thought the matter was over and he could finally become the internet celebrity Wang Bing. But he never expected. As soon as he stepped down the stairs and turned on his phone, a certain post from that thing called me caught his eye. Could it be that me is going to personally celebrate for me? It seems the previous internet celebrity also received a congratulatory post from the boss. Wang Bing opened the post with great anticipation, and the next second, PFFT. PFFT. The moment he saw the title, Wang Bing completely broke down. Wang Bing's unruly behavior causes excessive errors on the internet, and a thorough investigation will be conducted soon. Wang Bing's hand holding the phone trembled uncontrollably, and even his lips began to quiver. His large, pupil-filled eyes were filled with, unable to look directly at him. No, how could this be? He said he'd make me the network manager, but now, I understand. Damn it, I've been tricked by that guy. Wang Bing was filled with regret and hatred. PFFT, overwhelmed by anger, he spat out a mouthful of blood. In the last moment before he collapsed and lost consciousness, why did God have to make him born in the other side of the world? If only he could stay in the East, but there are no ifs. Fang Heng, good news, old Joe rushed over, phone in hand. Huff huff huff. He was panting heavily when he reached Fang Heng. Look, they apologized, and it's their network manager. Old Joe was speaking with great joy, thinking he was the first to receive this news, but he didn't expect. But out of the corner of his eye, he noticed that Fang Heng was also watching at this moment. At this moment, the screen on Fang Heng's computer was showing Wang Bing giving his apology on stage. So you were watching too? Old Joe smiled awkwardly, scratching the back of his head sheepishly. Fang Heng, let me tell you, this is the very first time they've publicly apologized to us, and it was even their network administrator. This time, we really owe you a debt of gratitude. If it weren't for your computer skills. But as he listened to old Joe's words, Fang Heng silently shook his head. What? Fang Heng, am I wrong? Not entirely wrong. What? Not entirely wrong. That means there's a mistake, but where? You mean? Old Joe simply curled his lip and said, Fang Heng, don't try to be modest with me. We all have witnessed your abilities. Excessive modesty becomes hypocrisy, becomes Versailles. That's not what I meant. I was just saying, don't be fooled by the fact that the other side is the network manager. There's a lot of room for manipulation in this process. The network manager apologized, and you think it's hypocritical? You wouldn't happen to want that thing on the other side to apologize, would you? Old Joe nudged Fang Heng, secretly amused by his words. This kid's appetite is really big. That network manager on the other side is new here, just someone like me put on to deal with the situation. People like that are being used, you can find tons of them, and look here. Fang Heng rhythmically pulled up a dynamic photo on his computer. The photo showed me's update on a certain platform, with various comments. Holy crap, is that guy really that ruthless? HMPH, but if he wasn't ruthless, he wouldn't be like this. Old Joe had initially thought the other side had changed their ways, but after seeing this photo, hell, a dog really can change its nature. Sigh, let's leave it at that. We have more important things to do next, no need to waste time with them. Fang Heng frowned, speaking thoughtfully. We haven't even started on the things we discussed in the meeting, and this has caused even more delays. That's true. Hearing this, old Joe's smile instantly froze, replaced by a serious expression. After all, they all had to take this matter seriously. Chapter 85 Longtang Machinery Manufacturing Company is recruiting talents. After the computer processing incident, there haven't been any new fluctuations for the time being. Fang Heng and several professors also held a more in-depth meeting. During the meeting, they discussed their joint research on the underwater trench. Fang Heng, that underwater trench is too deep, and there's no network signal inside, so we're thinking of modifying the glove detector you gave to Li Xinren before. I feel like your old set should work. Zhang Guojian looked at Fang Heng thoughtfully and said, that's no problem. I happen to have a set here. You can take it and use it first. Hearing this, Fang Heng readily took off his glove and handed it to Zhang Guojian without saying a word. Thank you, Fang Heng. On another note, we're currently researching a stealth special operations submarine, aiming to make it able to penetrate deeper into the ocean, because so far, Besides knowing that the underwater trench is not simple, we know nothing else, and recently, its anomalies have been increasing, leading us to speculate that there might be another world outside. Zhang Guojian paused, then continued, if that's the case, then those anomalies are likely caused by bombardment from some kind of creature on the other side. Just in case, we must prepare protection as soon as possible, and the stealth special operations submarine is precisely for this reason. However, we've encountered bottlenecks in the power engine and pressure protection. As he spoke, Zhang Guojian became increasingly helpless, and the other professors silently lowered their heads. This problem had been troubling them for quite some time. In fact, this project had started a long time ago. It's been over 5 years now. They've tried various protective materials and power systems, but none have solved these two problems. Moreover, because this is a highly secretive project, not everyone can access it, so they've never been allowed to consult with top geniuses outside the region. But things are different now. Fang Heng. Fang Heng is even more outstanding than top geniuses. And at this moment, his identity is the chief engineer of the mecha. His status is similar to theirs. So he is fully qualified and responsible to participate in this project. Old Zhang, we don't need to be too discouraged, at least so far it's been normal. In the time to come, we can study together. We must always believe that hard work pays off. Yes, we always believe in you, kid. Ha. New talents emerge in every generation. Each generation is stronger than the last. And so, Fang Heng successfully joined the research of the first generation of stealth special operations submarines. His days gradually became busier, and on the third day after his meeting, Fang Heng Repair Factory suddenly issued an announcement. Fang Heng Repair Factory will soon be renamed Longtang Machinery Manufacturing Company. Then, Longtang Machinery Manufacturing Company is now recruiting talents. We are open to all, regardless of background. Anyone with ability, a sense of responsibility, and good character is welcome to apply. The most eye-catching part of this announcement was the two pinned comments. Haha, Fang Heng, congratulations. You've become the boss of a big company so quickly. Your responsibilities will be even greater from now on. Pinned. Featured. These two comments were posted by none other than Zhang Guojian's Research Institute. That's right. Fang Heng is gradually integrating into Kyushu Research Institute. And this time, the appearance of Zhang Guojian's Research Institute's comments perfectly illustrates this. Hiss, what's going on? Is Fang Dashin changing careers? TCH, that's not the focus. The focus should be on those two comments above. See them. Could it be that Fang Dashin has already joined the Research Institute? Then, if that's the case, then isn't Longtang Company directly under the Research Institute? Holy crap, awesome, I want to apply this time. One stone stirs up 1,000 waves, one word awakens people from their dreams. Ha, I feel like this society is tailor-made for me. I just finished writing my resume and the job posting is already out. Fang Dashin, I'm here. Please take me under your wing. What, brother Fang Heng, I also want to apply. Can you give me a referral? That's right, I've been following you for a very, very long time. PFFT, ha, sarcasm. In a small house in the suburbs of the city, a young man in his 40s is welding something. Uncle, his nephew rushed in from outside. The young man, very kind, said with concern, oh dear, Xiaodong, you're over 20 years old. Can't you be a little more serious? Always jumping around like that. What if you fall? Uncle, good news. Master Fang has posted a job advertisement. The young man was a little confused. Why are you so excited about a job posting? You're not going to apply. Master Fang's repair shop has officially changed to Longtang Machinery Manufacturing Company, and they're currently recruiting talents. Uncle, your skills are so good, you could apply too. The young man slowly stopped his work, adjusted his glasses, and continued, oh dear, my legs aren't very strong. What's the point of applying? They definitely won't want me. This young man used to be a senior welder. His skills were exquisite. But due to a work accident, his leg was injured. He usually needs a cane to walk. He had submitted many resumes, but was rejected every time. Perhaps, he couldn't even pass the computer test. Good health, that's not right. When Fang Dashin hires, he only values ability, not anything else. Uncle, you can look here if you don't believe me. The guy named Xiaodong pulled up the announcement for his uncle. Hiss, it really is. Upon seeing the announcement, The young man's bewildered eyes gradually brightened again. This, uncle, you should get ready quickly. I believe you can pass. Okay. Oh, by the way, they all require resumes. Uncle doesn't use a computer. Could you help me edit one? Just tell the truth. No need for excessive embellishment. The young man's joy was palpable. He seemed to see his younger self in him. Chapter 86 Powerful Summoning Force, Unexpected Return Wave. Meanwhile, in the president's office of a large listed company. Mr. Wang, are you really sure? The president looked at Mr. Wang's resignation letter and felt a deep sense of regret. Mr. Wang was a talented individual. In his years with the company, he had accomplished many significant projects, earning high praise even from the notoriously picky board members. Mr. Wang, to be honest, at the last board meeting, he proposed making you general manager, and it was unanimously approved. If I'm not mistaken, next month would be your official term as general manager. So, are you still leaving now? Although the board hadn't actually made that proposal, the president believed they wouldn't want to lose such a talented individual. Therefore, securing a suitable position for him later was still an option. Thank you for your concern and kindness, President and all the directors, but my mind is made up. The world outside is vast, and I want to see it while I'm still young. Wang smiled, his eyes filled with hope, and said, I'm almost 30 now. If I don't strive to go out and explore, my youth will slip away, so I want to experience something different in my 30s. I hope the president will approve my resignation. Sigh. Seeing Wang's resolute attitude, the company president couldn't help but sigh. He was truly helpless. If someone wanted to leave, he couldn't keep them. Alright, Wang, if you find a better job outside, one that feels so good here, or if you're uncomfortable, you can always come back. Our company will always welcome you. Let me put it this way, as long as I'm here, this position will always be yours. The president and Wang had worked together for 5 years. In those 5 years, Wang had completed thousands of projects, large and small, for him. Now that Wang suddenly announced his resignation, the president couldn't help but feel a pang of nostalgia. Thank you for your kind offer, President, but I believe the outside world won't disappoint me. Wang said this with a smile. Actually, his resignation was primarily because he wanted to join Longtang Machinery Manufacturing Company. He wanted to contribute to scientific research and work with a groundbreaking figure like Fang Heng. The outside world he referred to was simply Fang Heng's newly established Longtang Machinery Manufacturing Company. This was his passion. Regardless of the salary or position, he was willing to join. And this wasn't just happening domestically. An unprecedented wave of returning home was sweeping across overseas. In an overseas laboratory. Professor, I've decided to go back, so please hand over the project to someone else. Why? The old professor looked at his assistant through his glasses, puzzled. This was his most outstanding student among all his students. Jian Shen, this project is a great opportunity for you. Perhaps you can. No need, Professor. I've already decided to go back. Please hand over the project to someone else. Su Jiansheng firmly refused without hesitation. The old professor paused, then continued, is it because of Longtang Machinery Manufacturing Company over there? Is it because of that young man? Fang Heng, the old professor bombarded him with questions, seemingly having already seen through his assistant's thoughts. Jian Shen, you're still young. You need to know that the research atmosphere here is the best. Going back to Longtang Machinery Manufacturing Company might just mean tightening screws. As your professor, I really don't want you to ruin your future. No. Su Jiansheng didn't say much. Clean and concise, just one sentence, but his eyes were full of determination, full of hope. Alright, since you're leaving, then we'll wait for you to come back before we continue this project. The old professor seemed to value Su Jiansheng highly, and wasn't even trying to stop the project because of him. He felt that Su Jiansheng was just acting impulsively, and that he would probably remember how good this place was after a few days back. The old professor believed that Su Jiansheng would return soon. But he hadn't expected that Su Jiansheng would reply so directly. Really, no need, Professor. I won't be coming back, will I? My hometown needs me. No matter what, I'm willing to return to my hometown to work, to build, and to contribute. At the central airport of a certain small country, an old man was leading a young man slowly towards him. Grandson, this is a great opportunity. You've just graduated, and this is a perfect chance for you to return home and showcase your talents and knowledge. I'd be so happy if you could learn more from Fang Heng. Yes, Grandpa, I've also been thinking about returning to China to develop my career, the young man said. Grandpa, don't worry. I'll always remember what you said to me the day I went abroad to study. Going abroad is to come back and build your hometown. Even if you go out, remember the way back home. Not bad. The old man stroked his beard, his heart filled with pride. Grandpa, wait here for a moment, I need to use the restroom. With that, the young man headed towards the restroom. The old man stopped. In such a large airport, he truly had no idea which way to go. He hadn't even finished elementary school, but he was a former special volunteer. His courage and fearlessness in his youth had been repeatedly praised. Just then, an airport staff member quickly approached the old man. What did you say? Are you talking to me? The old man couldn't understand a word the airport staff member said. Finally, seemingly realizing this, the staff member changed language and said, "Hello, do you need to board?" "Oh, yes, my grandson and I are taking a flight back." Hearing this, the airport staff member directly said, "Well, because there's a bit of congestion ahead, we've moved up the boarding process. Please come and queue over here." And so, guided by the staff member, the old man joined the boarding queue. The staff there seemed quite efficient. The elderly man's turn came quickly. "Hello, please show me your passport." Mutual photo exchange. The old man was first stunned, then completely dumbfounded. Mutual photo exchange. What was that? Chapter 87, Longtang Machinery Manufacturing Company officially begins operations. Mutual photo. "Hello, please show me your mutual photo." Seeing the old man's bewildered expression, the staff member repeated the question helplessly. Hello, may I ask what mutual photo is?" Mutual photo. This term baffled the old man. He seemed to have never seen it before. He had absolutely no recollection of it. What? He was asking what mutual photo was? Was he doing this on purpose? Was he trying to cause trouble? Upon hearing this, the staff member immediately frowned. "You don't know what mutual photo is?" The old man shook his head, indicating that he genuinely didn't know. Mutual photo is this booklet. Everyone has one, but it generally looks like this. The staff member took a mutual photo booklet from a nearby tourist and showed it to the old man. This, I don't have this." The old man subconsciously touched his pocket. He really didn't have this booklet. "I have my ID card. It's with my grandson. I'll give it to you later, okay?" Even in this situation, the old man remained calm and composed. Although he was old, his former aura and demeanor were still there. "No, it's the rule. You must show a photo of each other. Please cooperate." But I really don't have one." The staff member didn't think the old man was lying, but then they thought again. No photo of each other. That's impossible. You say you don't have a photo of each other, then how can you be here? Why can't I be here? The old man raised his voice slightly, even straightening his bent back slightly. "People who aren't from here use mutual passes. You can't get here without one. Why not? I didn't have a pass when I came here last time either. Back then, I could go wherever I wanted." "How? When was the last time you came?" "In a dream, perhaps." "How did you get here?" "You..." Just as the old man was about to continue, a very familiar voice came from behind him. Grandpa, what are you doing here?" It turned out to be the old man's grandson, who had finished using the restroom and come looking for him. "Oh, sorry, here are our passports. Please check them." It turned out the old man's pass was with his grandson. Because the old man didn't understand the local language, his grandson handled many things for him. But his grandson never expected that this would happen while he was just using the restroom. "Come on, Grandpa, let's wait over there." He gently helped the slightly disabled old man towards the waiting room. After taking only 2 steps, the old man looked at the staff member and confidently declared, "I'm from AIHTG, driving a tank here." Boom. Boom. The moment the old man finished speaking, the staff member's pupils dilated instantly. His eyes were filled with utter shock. Looking into the old man's eyes, the staff member's legs trembled uncontrollably. This, just thinking about it made him shudder. Longtang Machinery Manufacturing Company, since its establishment, has posted over 3,000 job openings. In other places, this number of positions might take 4 or 5 years to fill, but here at the branch, it only took 4 days. In 4 days, Longtang Machinery Manufacturing Company hired 3,960 employees from all over the country. both domestically and overseas. Even though all the full-time positions were filled, the recruiters' inboxes continued to receive a steady stream of resumes. Some even volunteered to work as cleaners, typists, word processors, and so on at Longtang Machinery Manufacturing Company. Longtang Machinery Manufacturing Company, boss's conference room. Everyone is here now. Thank you all very much for your support of Longtang Machinery Manufacturing Company, and thank you for choosing us. Fang Heng sat in his seat at the meeting. After a few polite words, he got to the point. Currently, Longtang Machinery Manufacturing Company is mainly developing in 3 directions, and as for this concept, our work will be divided into 3 aspects, which means we have established 3 departments. Engineer Lee, from now on you have agreed to join the Power Configuration Research Department. You and your team will be responsible for the research and configuration of power engines. I have some existing products here, but they have bottlenecks. I hope you can make a breakthrough. Okay, Boss Fang, we will definitely do our best. We won't let you down. Engineer Lee was very pleased to hear Fang Heng immediately entrust him with such an important task, and immediately patted his chest to guarantee it. This Engineer Lee was a top-tier engine engineer renowned both domestically and internationally. Initially, Fang Heng hadn't expected him to apply for the job. Old Shen, from now on you'll be the head of our company's lithography machine R&D department. Hiss, lithography machine. Hearing this, Old Shen's eyes lit up instantly. This was top-tier technology on Earth, a significant indicator of a region's overall strength. Generally, ordinary companies lacked the capability for this kind of R&D. But, how could Fang Heng's company be an ordinary company? That's right, our company's second department is the lithography machine R&D department. In a couple of days, I'll take you to see a batch of finished products. What's wrong? Old Shen, is there a problem? Seeing Old Shen just staring blankly, not saying a word, Fang Heng thought he had a problem. Of course, if you don't want to agree, I can find someone else. Before Fang Heng could finish speaking, Old Shen suddenly seemed to wake from a dream and hurriedly said, No, Mr. Fang, don't worry, I'll handle this perfectly for you, don't worry, I'll lead them to work diligently. Fang Heng nodded slightly and said, Okay, in that case, there's only one department left. This department isn't too difficult, not too difficult. What kind of department is this? Is it like the finance department or human resources department in a regular company? The people present looked at each other, puzzled, but no one got a clear answer. This department is the Exoskeleton Armor R&D Department. Chapter 88 Fang Heng sets off for Shanghai. Exoskeleton Armor R&D Department. Everyone present perked up upon hearing this. This was no ordinary project. The name alone exuded power. Exoskeleton armor wasn't something an ordinary machinery manufacturing company could develop. It required approval from higher authorities. And Fang Heng's Longtang Machinery Manufacturing Company had just obtained that approval. But, Engineer Zhang, if you have any questions, just say them. This is a meeting, there's nothing we can't say. Yes, if anyone has any doubts, concerns, or feels there's a problem, please raise them now. Fang Heng looked around and spoke calmly. Boss Fang, actually, we do have a big problem here. Although we were all engineers specializing in technology, Engineer Zhang frowned, speaking with increasing embarrassment. With a helpless expression, he continued, the biggest problem is that none of us have ever worked with exoskeletons, let alone developed one. Oh, so that's what you're worried about. Upon hearing Zhang Guang's question, Fang Heng burst into laughter. It's alright. You all have excellent foundations. I'll basically be staying in the Exoskeleton Armor R&D department, so I'll guide you in. I'll provide you with all the necessary materials and data. You just need to familiarize yourself with the relevant R&D process as quickly as possible. This meeting laid the foundation for Longtang Machinery Manufacturing Company's future direction and its transformation into a super-large enterprise. In the following days, Longtang Machinery Manufacturing Company went into full swing. All thousands of employees worked diligently and responsibly. Soon, Longtang World Manufacturing Company was on a normal development track. That day, Fang Heng was preparing to travel to Shanghai to discuss some cooperation with the owner of Jinli Hardware Factory. The distance between Jiangling and Shanghai was considerable. So Fang Heng had booked his plane ticket well in advance, planning to fly directly to Moscow that noon. After a series of checks and procedures, Fang Heng finally boarded the plane. Based on his reserved seat, Fang Heng quickly found his seat. When Fang Heng walked to his seat, he suddenly noticed a girl sitting to his left. At this moment, the girl seemed unaware of Fang Heng's approach. She was thoughtfully gazing out a window. Because her seat was closest to the window, she had the best view. This girl had long, flowing hair and wore a high-end Chanel suit. The light color of the dress was a perfect match for her slender figure, perfectly highlighting her beauty. Hiss, this fragrance is so sweet. Even before sitting down, Fang Heng could smell the fragrance emanating from the girl from across the seat. The girl looked to be in her early 20s, about the same age as Fang Heng, but possessed the beauty of Zhou Minggai Ao. Upon seeing her, Fang Heng was momentarily stunned. No way around it. This wasn't Fang Heng's fault. Although he didn't want to act this way, he was still a normal, hot-blooded young man. However, Fang Heng still had some self-control, and he quickly snapped out of it. Fang Heng shook his head slightly, trying to clear his mind. Clearing his mind of all distractions, he sat down next to the girl. Because Fang Heng's seat was right next to her. If this were in a classroom, they would be considered deskmates. Just as Fang Heng sat down, the girl next to him seemed to notice something. She suddenly turned her head, looking at Fang Heng with some surprise. But this look only lasted a few seconds. She quickly relaxed and turned her head back to look out a window. Perhaps she then remembered that someone was sitting next to her. Despite having stayed up all night, Fang Heng, now seated, felt no sleepiness whatsoever. Perhaps it was because of the girl next to him, or perhaps it was the faint, ever-present fragrance in the air. Bored, Fang Heng took out a novel he had prepared beforehand from his bag. He couldn't use his phone on the plane, so he had to switch from an e-book to a physical copy. Suddenly, a middle-aged, greasy man in the row in front of him turned around, looked at the girl next to him, and said, "Oh ho, isn't this Yang Tian?" Hearing this, Fang Heng couldn't help but step out of his novel. Yang Tian. That super popular female celebrity lately. Although Fang Heng wasn't usually a fan of celebrities, he did enjoy using his phone and would often browse entertainment news. And, he really had a connection to Yang Tian. He had seen several of her dramas. This actress possessed both beauty and acting skills. She could be considered a breath of fresh air in the entertainment industry. Hearing someone call her name, Yang Tian was truly shocked. To avoid being recognized or exposed, she had dressed very simply, even wearing a mask. But she never expected that someone would still recognize her here. Had she suddenly become popular again? But when Yang Tian turned around and saw, the moment she clearly saw the face in front of her, her heart skipped a beat. Holy crap, how could it be him? Yang Tian panicked slightly. But she forced a smile and politely said, "Oh, it's Mr. Jin." "Hello, Mr. Jin, really? I really didn't expect. I didn't expect to meet you here, isn't that right? Tian, I thought we'd only meet in Shanghai, but I didn't expect to run into you here. What a coincidence." The guy called Mr. Jin laughed heartily, his mouth greasy. He probably thought it was a very generous gesture. But what he didn't know was that after hearing his words, Yang Tian's brows immediately furrowed tightly. A look of anger and helplessness flashed in her eyes. "Go to hell, who are you calling Tian? Is Tian someone you can call? Who has a connection with you? Who wants a connection with you? If it weren't for the company's arrangement, I wouldn't want to see you at all." In just a few seconds, many thoughts raced through Yang Tian's mind. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 89. A celebrity cousin suddenly appeared on the plane. "Mr. Jin, you're quite the joker. Aren't we all going to discuss projects later? So let's rest now and talk in the conference room." Yang Tian was clearly somewhat helpless in front of Mr. Jin. Although she disliked him and knew he had feelings for her, he was rich, and the film she wanted to make needed his investment, and her company had repeatedly emphasized the need to cooperate with him. All these factors combined made Yang Tian feel increasingly helpless and indifferent. "Oh wow, that's easy. Discussing projects isn't that simple. If it were someone else, I might have to think it over, but talking to you, Tian, isn't it like we can sign right away?" Mr. Jin laughed, revealing his 2 rows of large teeth. Perhaps he ate vegetables for his last meal, as there were still bits of vegetable residue on his teeth. It was enough to make anyone want to vomit. Fang Heng clearly sensed this. This guy definitely has ill intentions. But it's someone else's business, and Fang Heng felt awkward interfering too much. Besides, the main character hasn't even spoken yet. Yang Dian has been speaking to him politely all this time. Fang Heng is just a guy sitting next to him. What can he do? At most, he can only frown. Yang Dian herself felt extremely embarrassed. This Mr. Jin was pestering her. He never seemed to want any peace and quiet. Mr. Jin, you're really joking. It's the same no matter who you talk to about a project. I, Yang Dian, am no better than anyone else. Projects still need to be discussed, huh? Old man. Actually, Yang Dian didn't take Mr. Jin's words to heart at all. Someone as cunning as him is already doing a favor by not cheating people. How could he willingly sign a project without even discussing it? Impossible. Ha, sweetie, you're so thoughtful in this regard. Frowning instantly, Yang Dian was incredibly annoyed. Sweetie. Who are you calling? Do I know you that well? Since the project needs to be discussed, we'll discuss it sooner or later, so let's talk about it now. It seemed that the greasy middle-aged man called Boss Jin wouldn't let go of any opportunity to chat with Yang Dian. But, seeing how persistent this old man was, Yang Dian became even more flustered. Although she was a popular actress, but the film she wanted to shoot recently was only financed by this guy. That's why Yang Dian was so helpless, and why she was still responding to Boss Jin, word by word. If it were any other time, Yang Dian would have already turned her back on him and left. This isn't quite right. What's wrong with it? Anyway, we still have some time before we get to Shanghai. Maybe we can finalize the project here, and then if we ride motorcycles, I can take you sightseeing, like this place on the Bund, or I can even take you to some jewelry stores, the guy said, twirling the designer watch on his wrist. His eyes and actions seemed to say, as long as you do as I say, you won't be shortchanged. I have plenty of money. But Yang Dian's eyes were completely panicked, and she stammered, but there are seats here, and it's not convenient to talk if we're separated. Mr. Jin, let's go over there and talk. It's not convenient here. Oh, Mr. Jin slapped his thigh on the spot. Tian Dian, you're so thoughtful. Your words really reminded me. How about this? I'll switch seats with the young man next to you, then we can go outside to talk. Ha. After saying that, without hesitation, Mr. Jin immediately tried to switch seats. However, since his seat was similar to Yang Tian's, by the window and away from the aisle, he had to wait for the guy in the aisle to move. The moment Mr. Jin stood up, Yang Dian completely panicked. In her haste, something suddenly occurred to her. She quickly pulled a sticky note and a pen from her bag and scribbled, "Handsome, please don't agree to his request. Don't agree to his request." After writing this, Yang Dian disregarded politeness and nudged Fang Heng's foot with her foot, gesturing for him to look at the sticky note. Fang Heng instinctively looked at it, frowning. He instantly understood. "Hello, I'd like to switch seats with you. You can sit in the front." At this moment, Mr. Jin had already moved in front of Fang Heng. Just moments before he appeared, at the last second, Yang Dian quickly put away the sticky note, pretending nothing had happened. Hearing what Mr. Jin said, Fang Heng frowned even more. This guy is so rude. He just tells me to go to the front? This is my seat. Why? Fang Heng was about to retort, but before he could finish, Yang Dian's voice came from beside him. "Oh, Mr. Jin, I'm really sorry, he's my cousin. You should go back to your seat. My cousin is very attached to me, he has to stay with me everywhere." It turned out that Yang Dian, seeing Fang Heng's long silence, was afraid he hadn't understood her meaning. So she decided to take a gamble. She decided to strike first. Tian Dian, what did you just say?" Mr. Jin stood there somewhat embarrassed. "You said he's your cousin." Mr. Jin looked Fang Heng up and down in disbelief. How come I've never heard of this before? Sweetie, you're not trying to fool me, are you? Thump. 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 Hearing this, Yang Dian's heart skipped a beat. What should she do? Of course it's true, you didn't ask him, but as soon as she uttered the last half of the sentence, Yang Dian regretted it. What if Boss Jin really asked Fang Heng? What if she hadn't told Fang Heng? What if he didn't understand what she meant and just said no? Then everything would be exposed. Please. You have to know. Please cooperate. Yang Dian silently prayed in her heart. Chapter 90 was used as a shield by someone. And so, Yang Dian watched Fang Heng with extreme nervousness, afraid that he would say something that would contradict what she had just said. Finally, after a long while, Fang Heng made a move. He slowly raised his eyes, then slowly opened his mouth and said, "I'm her cousin, who are you?" Fang Heng frowned as he spoke, clearly not very welcoming. Phew, hearing Fang Heng say this, Yang Dian finally breathed a sigh of relief. That was terrifying, so terrifying. I was so nervous just now. Yang Dian quietly stroked her stomach, trying to calm herself down and not let others notice her abnormality. "You really are her cousin?" The Mr. Jin seemed still not satisfied and asked again. He confirmed it again and again. But in the end, their tone was very consistent. Yang Dian said Fang Heng was her cousin, and Fang Heng said Yang Dian was his cousin. The two exchanged words seamlessly. Although Mr. Jin really wanted to sit with Yang Dian, his cousin was there, so he couldn't do anything inappropriate. Therefore, he could only awkwardly feign ease and say, "Oh, so you're Tian Dian's cousin? Oh, you're Tian Dian's cousin. Very good. So where are you planning to go?" Fang Heng was trying to find an excuse to brush him off. But before he could finish, or rather, only utter one word, Yang Dian interrupted him. She immediately took over, saying, "Oh dear, my cousin grew up in a small city and has never been to a big city like Shanghai. He came along because I'm going there and wants to have some fun." Looking at Yang Dian's earnest expression and actions, her words sounded so genuine. It has to be said, her acting was truly superb. Even Fang Heng couldn't help but want to give her another compliment. "Oh, so you're planning a trip to Shanghai? That's great, that's great." The Mr. Jin seemed to suddenly understand the situation, and his previously lost confidence returned. "I know Shanghai well. I'll show you around when we get there, that way you can save on a tour guide." "Tian Dian, what do you think?" "Hell." Yang Dian's smile froze upon hearing this. This guy's persistence is truly impressive. His skin is incredibly thick. "We'll talk about it later, we haven't even been there yet." No, don't wait until later. We need to make arrangements now. Opportunities are always for those who are prepared. We need to arrange things in advance." Mr. Jin was about to say something more, but judging from his expression, he wouldn't stop until Yang Dian agreed to accompany him to Shanghai. Just then, the flight attendant approached. "Excuse me, sir, please be seated and fasten your seatbelt. The plane is about to take off," the flight attendant said politely. "Hey, wait a minute, I still have some things to discuss." Mr. Jin suddenly became irritated when someone urged him, and his whole demeanor turned to Yang Dian, ignoring the flight attendant after uttering that sentence. "Tian Dian, then excuse me, sir, please return to your seat immediately and fasten your seatbelt. The plane is about to take off, and we cannot stay in the aisle. This not only threatens your safety but also poses a hazard to the normal operation of our aircraft. Please abide by the rules here, okay?" Although Mr. Jin's attitude was not good, the staff's politeness and etiquette were still very good, patiently explaining to him and trying to persuade him. "Oh, okay, I know, just wait a minute or two, I won't do anything." "Sweetie, we agreed, then I'll come over to Motu." "Sir, please return to your seat immediately. The plane is about to take off. If you really do this, we will easily disembark you." The flight attendant's face became very serious. This involved safety, so it was naturally a serious matter. But he never expected that this passenger would lack such basic safety awareness. "Sweetie, sir, please." Seeing that Mr. Jin still showed no intention of returning to his seat, the flight attendant tried to persuade him again. Oh, okay, I'll go back right now, okay? You keep nagging me every day. Can't you even say a few words? It's such a small matter." Mr. Jin looked at the flight attendant with a very resentful gaze, then, in a huff, had no choice but to return to his seat. He hadn't even explained things to Yang Jian yet, and this regret made him feel very uncomfortable and out of place. He was already incredibly frustrated at not being able to sit next to Yang Dian, but now. "Hey, Tian Dian." Although his seat was now separated from Yang Dian by a back, Mr. Jin didn't seem to give up. He still tried to chat with Yang Dian through the back of his chair. But this time, Yang Dian had become smarter. At this moment, she was drooping her head, facing the window. The large hood covering her face completely obscured her eyes. People outside couldn't tell if she was really asleep or pretending. Of course, Yang Dian wasn't asleep at this moment. To be precise, She couldn't sleep. She had clearly heard what Mr. Jin had said, but she didn't dare to respond, afraid that if she said a word, he would start rambling on and on. So, pretending to be asleep was a good method. Sure enough, after several unsuccessful attempts, Mr. Jin completely gave up after Yang Tian. There was nothing he could do. With his back to him, it wasn't easy for him to do anything. Of course, during the flight, Mr. Jin tried calling Yang Tian again. Tian Tian, Tian Tian, Tian Tian, Tian Tian, are you awake? We'll be in Shanghai soon, how about we talk? Mr. Jin turned his head and was startled. He immediately saw Fang Heng's large face. What's wrong? Are you calling me? Do you have something to say to me? PFFT. PFFT, go to hell. Who the hell is calling you? You're a grown man, who would want to call you? Mr. Jin cursed inwardly. Chapter 91. You are actually Fang Heng. As soon as she got off the plane, Mr. Jin quickly caught up with her. Sweetie, don't walk so fast. Why are you walking so fast? Taking a taxi here is expensive. How about I give you a ride? My car is here, Mr. Jin said with a smile, pointing to the BMW in front of them. The BMW is quite new, clearly costing a considerable amount of money. Someone who could afford such a car in a big city like Shanghai was certainly well off. Hearing this, Yang Tian quickly waved her hands in refusal. Oh no, no need. I'm with my cousin. Mr. Jin, you should go back first, we won't hold you up any longer. As for our project, let's reschedule for a few days. Today is really inconvenient, my cousin is here too. Yang Tian had made her intentions very clear. But, was Mr. Jin stupid, or pretending not to understand? It's okay, I didn't say you and your cousin had to separate. You two can ride in my car together. No, thank you for your kindness, Mr. Jin, but my cousin doesn't like riding in these kinds of cars, so I still have to take him on the bus. He's never liked them since he was little because he gets dizzy in them. Maybe it's some childhood habit. Yang Tian's words became increasingly absurd and dramatic. Hearing Yang Tian's words, Fang Heng subconsciously frowned. Okay, I was just demonstrating with you. You don't have to say that to me, do you? I don't get dizzy piloting a mecha, so why would I get dizzy riding in his little car? Impossible. It's one thing if you say I get dizzy, but why are you making up stories from the past? It's like I've never ridden in one of his cars before, although I really haven't. Fang Heng doesn't care at all, okay? Mr. Jin, you can go back now. My cousin and I have some things to do. This is a personal little secret, so I'm sorry you had to see it. You're a guy. Guys understand. Fang Heng had already spoken, and Mr. Jin hesitated slightly before finally saying, but, there are no buts. You can go back now. We'll find you for tea another day. After saying that, Fang Heng said goodbye. He had no desire to get entangled with that name any longer. Damn it, this guy is really troublesome. Anyone with eyes can see that he dislikes him and doesn't want him to get close, but he insists on pretending not to see it. He's so stubborn. Maybe it's because Yang Tian is too beautiful, especially the fragrance floating next to her. It really makes people's imaginations run wild. Watching the bosses helplessly get into their cars, until the taillights of his car disappeared, Yang Tian finally breathed a sigh of relief. Her tense mood finally relaxed. Thank you so much for earlier. Yang Tian turned to look at Fang Heng, feeling a little embarrassed and shy. It's nothing. Fang Heng waved his hand politely. Oh, by the way, it's been so long, and I still don't know your name. Fang Heng didn't need to hide anything and readily told her, my name is Fang Heng. What? What did he just say? He said he was Fang Heng. Fang Heng, could it be that Fang Heng? Boom. Can you say it again? At this moment, Yang Tian's heart was in turmoil, and she even stammered. It wasn't that she was nervous, but she was so surprised that she couldn't believe it. You're the one who built the mecha before, the one from Longtang Machinery Manufacturing Company. Fang Heng shrugged and said very readily. That's just what outsiders call me. You can just call me Fang Heng. Really? Yang Tian was a little incredulous. How could such a genius young man have such a good temper? Shouldn't someone with such strong abilities have some quirks? How come he's so easy to get along with? Really? PFFT. Looking at Yang Tian's adorable expression, Fang Heng couldn't help but laugh out loud. How would you know if you haven't called me that? Fang Heng. Yes, Fang Heng. Ha ha ha. After Boss Jin left, the two of them stood there chatting for a while. They only chatted for a short time, but they found they got along surprisingly well. They felt very familiar with each other as soon as they started talking. They could even call each other brother and sister. Fang Heng, what brings you here? Are you planning some big project? Yang Dian asked curiously. After all, someone of Fang Heng's stature wouldn't usually come out to discuss projects personally, right? You're absolutely right. I am here to discuss a project, but it's not a big one. It's just a regular collaboration, Fang Heng added. Maybe it's because I've never been here before, so I wanted to explore. Everyone says the scenery and cultural atmosphere here are exceptionally good. Have you booked a hotel yet? Where are you planning to stay? I haven't decided yet. I'll decide after I get here. Fang Heng scratched the back of his head awkwardly, speaking sheepishly. You know, guys sometimes don't think things through. Hearing this, Yang Dian suddenly felt very happy. Why don't you come stay at my place? Me, come stay at your place. This isn't quite right, is it? Although we get along very well, we are, after all. Fang Heng trailed off, but Yang Dian understood his unfinished thought. She smiled and said, what are you worried about? I meant you can stay at my hotel, not in my room. Yang Dian spoke while fidgeting with her fingers. Unbeknownst to her, a blush was gradually rising on her face as she finished speaking. That's fine too. I haven't decided which hotel to stay at yet. Since you have a recommendation, Sister Yang, I'll naturally listen to you. Fang Heng agreed without hesitation. He needed to find a place to stay anyway, and with Yang Dian's recommendation, he saved himself a lot of trouble by not having to look for a hotel himself. It was a happy thing. Chapter 92: The Prosperity and Technology of the Metropolis. Although Fang Heng is now the boss of Longtang Machinery Manufacturing Company, his mode of transportation remains very simple. He still takes taxis. Yang Dian offered him a ride, but he had some things to do later and wasn't going straight back to the hotel. Since Yang Dian had other things to do, Fang Heng didn't want to trouble her further, so he asked her for a specific address and took a taxi there himself. It must be said that the hotel Yang Dian recommended was indeed tasteful. The hotel's facade was grand and luxurious, and the services and amenities in the rooms were comprehensive. Everything one could possibly need was there. It was already evening when Fang Heng arrived at the hotel. After finding something to eat in the restaurant, Fang Heng immediately laid down. He was exhausted after a long day of running around. Recently, he had to juggle research with overseeing Longtang Machinery Manufacturing Company. He was practically overwhelmed these days. The next day. It's not the agreed time yet. They originally agreed to start negotiations the day after tomorrow. In that case, let's go out for a stroll first. Yang Dian was right about one thing on the plane. This was Fang Heng's first time in Shanghai. He usually went to Yandu and had never been to Shanghai before. Since that's the case, I might as well buy a suit. I feel like I'll have a lot of meetings, big and small, in the future. There's no reason to just show up in a shirt. Fang Heng looked at his figure and outfit in the mirror and unconsciously wanted to buy a formal suit. Owning a formal suit is especially important for a man. Especially for a successful man like Fang Heng. He's decisive and never hesitates. He quickly arrived at a bespoke suit shop. Hello, welcome. Seeing Fang Heng approaching from afar, the sales assistant greeted him with a bright smile and impeccable manner the moment he entered. Hello sir, how can I help you? The sales assistant was a stylishly dressed woman. Beautiful and kind, she immediately made a very good impression on Fang Heng. Hello, I'd like to buy a suit. Do you have any recommendations? This was Fang Heng's first time buying a suit, and he wasn't sure what type suited him or which one was best, so he could only listen to the sales assistant's recommendations first. Sure, sir, we recently added 3 new styles, all just released. Would you like to take a look? Okay, Fang Heng nodded and followed the sales assistant to another part of the store. Hello sir, take a look, this one is from the Shenvis brand. It's made of gray fabric with an open, tapered leg, which flatters a man's figure and gives a more formal feel. This is also one of our best-selling styles. If you want it now, we can give you a 15% discount. Fang Heng smiled awkwardly and said, so cheap? There's a discount? I thought you didn't allow bargaining here. Oh, sir, you misunderstand. It's not about bargaining. The sales assistant was very patient and polite, explaining to Fang Heng with a smile, this weekend is actually a promotional event in our store, mainly to promote new products. While listening to the sales assistant's explanation, Fang Heng picked up the corresponding suit to examine it. After considering it for a moment, Fang Heng accepted the sales assistant's suggestion and bought the first one. After buying the suit, Fang Heng browsed around for a bit and prepared to go home around 10 p.m. "Hey, sweetie. What are you doing here?" Fang Heng saw a familiar figure while waiting at the traffic light. He walked over and saw it was Yang Tian. "Hey, Fang Heng, what a coincidence. You're out too." "Yeah, I'm just out for a stroll." "What about you?" "I just met a client and am heading back to the hotel." "Me too. Let's go together, soon." Fang Heng and Yang Tian returned to the hotel entrance, chatting and laughing. Because Yang Tian's room was on a higher floor than Fang Heng's, Fang Heng waved to Yang Tian and said, "Sweetie, I have to go back now." "Okay, you go back first. I'm going back too." But a few seconds later, just as Fang Heng turned the corner, suddenly, Yang Tian's voice came from behind again. "Fang Heng, could you come up with me?" Yang Tian's face turned completely red as she said this, feeling her face burning hot. But she had no other choice. "What's wrong? You live upstairs, it's so close, why do I need to go up with you?" Seeing Yang Tian's somewhat startled expression, Fang Heng asked, puzzled. "No, just now when I got upstairs, I found." "Found what?" Fang Heng's gaze remained fixed on Yang Tian. "Do you remember when we met at Mr. Jin on the plane yesterday?" Hiss. Hearing this, Fang Heng's pupils dilated instantly. "So you just ran into him upstairs?" "Actually, not really, he hasn't noticed me yet." Yang Tian frowned. "He's sitting outside my room, that's why I came downstairs to ask you to come back with me, otherwise he'll definitely do something else." "Sure, let's go then. I'll go up with you first, and I'll come down after he leaves." Fang Heng was very happy to help. It turned out that Mr. Jin had been waiting there for a long time. He had been waiting for 2 or 3 hours, but he still hadn't seen Yang Tian return. But just then, he suddenly saw a familiar figure. Sweetie, you're back. You're finally back." The Jin boss grinned broadly the moment he saw Yang Tian, even showing his 2 rows of large teeth. It was a truly unsettling sight. Yang Tian feigned shock and said, "Jin boss, what are you doing here? I had something I wanted to talk to you about." "Why are you so late?" The Jin boss was about to ask Yang Tian why she was so late, but before he could finish, he noticed a boy standing behind her. That boy was 10 times, maybe even 20 times, more handsome than him. Chapter 93, Driving Technological Development Through Brand Effect. How did he end up here with you?" Mr. Jin asked, somewhat shocked. From the moment he saw Fang Heng appear, he felt a vague unease. It was probably the impression Fang Heng had left on him on the plane last time. If Fang Heng hadn't been there, he would have flown with Yang Tian to Modu, and perhaps even more things would have happened. But because Fang Heng was there, he didn't dare say many things, affecting his performance, which led to this situation. "Oh dear, Mr. Jin, you really have a bad memory. Have you forgotten he's my cousin?" "He's my cousin, who else would he be with if not me?" Yang Tian forced a smile and looked at Fang Heng. I know he's your cousin, but, for some reason, Mr. Jin was unusually irritable lately, especially seeing that Fang Heng and Yang Tian had returned at the same time, and it seemed they lived in the same place. "But you two can't stay in the same room, can you? You're his cousin, and he's your cousin, you two, that's a bit inappropriate." PFFT. Hearing Mr. Jin say such a thing, Yang Tian couldn't help but laugh, and then said, "Mr. Jin, you're really joking. My cousin is just here to keep me company. His room is next door, not here." "What are you thinking?" "Oh, I see. I thought you two." That's good. Hearing that Fang Heng was just here to keep Yang Tian company and wasn't staying here, Mr. Jin immediately beamed. "Then, in that case, would it be convenient for me?" Mr. Jin was full of anticipation, wanting to say, "Would it be convenient for me to come in and sit for a while and keep you company?" But before he could say this, Yang Tian beat him to it, and at this moment, Yang Tian directly said, "Mr. Jin, it's getting late. You should go back first. We can talk about it tomorrow. We can make another appointment later. My cousin is hungry, I'll go back and make him some noodles," Yang Tian said to Mr. Jin as she took out her key to open the door. "But Yang Tian, I've been waiting for you here for so long, I can't." Goodbye Mr. Jin, we'll make another appointment next time, bye-bye, but I really just wanted to go in and sit for a while." Mr. Jin's words were cut off as the door slammed shut. Damn it, how dare this little wench treat me like this? Fang Heng and Yang Dian went inside, leaving Mr. Jin outside, stomping his feet in anger. Inside the room. As soon as Fang Heng entered, he plopped down on the sofa. He had been out all day and was exhausted. You must be exhausted now. Wait a bit before you rest. I'll get you some water. Yang Dian greeted Fang Heng as she went to the kitchen to pour him some water. Oh, right, I forgot to ask you last time, what's your relationship with that boss Jin? What relationship? Yang Dian turned to Fang Heng and asked, what do you think? Fang Heng shook his head, indicating he couldn't figure it out. From Yang Dian's expression, Fang Heng could tell she was quite afraid of boss Jin, but from her words, he could tell she was also quite nice to him. It's nothing, Yang Dian said as she poured Fang Heng water. It's just that he's rich, and I happen to need money. Yang Dian's words completely baffled Fang Heng. Just that he's rich, and you happen to need money. Aren't you a top female celebrity? Are all female celebrities short of money these days? No way. Look at those celebrities on TV, all decked out in gold and silver, dressed so fashionably. Fang Heng, while lighting Yang Jian's lamp, picked up his water glass, took a sip, and then spoke directly. Oh ho, you little rascal, you're not short of money either. Yang Dian rolled her eyes at Fang Heng, then sat down on the sofa. How can I explain this to you? You know I'm a female celebrity, right? Female celebrities naturally have to act, and recently I've had my own idea to make a short film myself, but the company needs to find sponsors, and that film startup fund is quite substantial. My assistant contacted so many companies, and only he agreed to discuss it, so, that's how it is. What can I do? At this moment, Fang Heng frowned more and more as he listened. But didn't you notice that he has ulterior motives towards you? Actually, on the plane, I felt that the way he looked at you was strange. Yang Dian chuckled softly. Even you little imp, noticed. How could I not notice? Sigh. But so what if I noticed? I noticed. I still have to talk to him about cooperation afterward. I just need to be careful in the meantime. Actually, there are quite a few in our industry who are like this, acting as a big shot's lapdog. Some people even advised me to get involved with him early, so I wouldn't have to worry about clothes or food. I could just lie down and relax, but this isn't the life I want. I don't think a person's meaning should be like this. Yang Dian then told Fang Heng about some things in their industry. Hey, Sister Dian, I've been hearing you mention wanting to make a short film, but I don't know what kind of short film you're talking about, or what kind of subject matter, what theme. When Fang Heng asked this, Yang Dian suddenly became a little proud. Actually, this short film is different from other short films. It's centered on popular science, mainly to spread the production platform of scientific research and the spirit of scientific research. Oh, Fang Heng immediately became interested when he heard this, and even his eyes became brighter and clearer. So it's this kind of positive energy short film. What do you mean by that? When have I ever made a short film that isn't positive energy? Oh. Fang Heng smiled awkwardly, not knowing how to answer. Chapter 94 Mr. Fang, it's a pleasure to cooperate with you. Sweetie, your short film, what's wrong? You want to invest too? Yang Dian teased Fang Heng, then spoke up. Oh, you guessed right, I'm actually interested. Yang Dian was just saying it casually. But she never expected Fang Heng would actually bring it up himself. Yang Dian originally thought everyone was just joking. Could this be turning into project discussion? This film needs a lot of startup capital, and once it's invested, it will require most of the funds. Your company is just starting out. Yang Dian stopped halfway through her sentence, but her meaning was still very clear. Fang Heng, I'm actually very happy that you have this idea, really, but your company is just starting out, and there are many things that require money. Moreover, my project doesn't align with your development direction, so you don't need to invest money in me. Just starting out. Fang Heng just smiled and didn't explain further. Although the two got along very well, there were certain things that couldn't be said, and things that couldn't be explained, absolutely couldn't be mentioned. Who said our directions don't align? Isn't your short film a formal promotion of science and technology? And our company happens to need some promotion and marketing related to technology. After all, it's technology. It only becomes technology when many people use it. So you're planning to incorporate some elements of your company into my short film? That's not necessarily true. Didn't you say your film is also about scientific research? If you need material, I can provide it. If you already have material, then I'll just sit back and enjoy the benefits. Haha, that's still up for discussion, because I don't really have any ideas about material yet. Maybe I'll have to go to your company for an interview, an exclusive interview, Fang Heng teased Yang Yan, smiling. Sure, not just an exclusive interview, but a private interview if you want. Ha ha ha. Oh, is it a purely private interview? Fang Heng began seriously. PFFT. Hearing this, Yang Yan couldn't help but smile, but a blush quietly appeared on her face. Yang Yan stood up from the sofa, walked to the door and looked around, then turned back to Fang Heng and said, "That old man hasn't left yet. How about you take a shower here first? After he leaves, you can go back to sleep. Anyway, I have clothes for you to change into." Yang Yan gritted her teeth, clenched her fingers, and mustered up her courage to speak to Fang Heng. But she didn't know that her face was already burning hot. This isn't very appropriate. After all, this is your house, and I'm a guy. Yang Yan, what's there to be embarrassed about? I should be the one embarrassed, troubling you here all this time. That guy is still outside. I don't dare let you leave, so you should go in and take a shower first. I'll be taking a long shower, so I might come out quite late. You can go in first. As Yang Yan spoke, she pushed Fang Heng into the bathroom. Meanwhile, outside, Boss Jin was as anxious as an ant on a hot plate. He paced back and forth, his eyes constantly glancing at the door. He's been in there for ages. Why isn't he coming out yet? Didn't Yang Yan just say his cousin was only coming up to keep him company for a while? It's already past midnight, why hasn't he come out yet? Could they be planning something tonight? HMPH, Boss Jin was getting angrier and angrier, but he had already waited so long and didn't want to give up. So, all he could do was wait, his mind racing with all sorts of random thoughts. I just heard them laughing and talking inside. I wonder what they were saying. PFFT, that sounds like the shower running in the bathroom. Someone's taking a shower. Holy crap. Fang Heng's still in there. Who took a shower first? At this moment, Boss Jin was even more anxious, but he was also helpless because Yang Yan had already told him to go back, and he didn't dare knock on the door. Even if he did knock, what could he say? Could he say he had been waiting for him for a long time? Inside the house, Yang Yan suddenly exclaimed. This, glug. It turned out that Fang Heng had come out, but the clothes Yang Yan had provided didn't have a suitable top for him. The top was too small, Fang Heng couldn't wear it at all. So this was the only option. The moment Yang Yan saw Fang Heng come out, her eyes lit up. Holy crap! What kind of godlike looks are these? He's so handsome. Even more handsome than many of the young heartthrobs in the industry, and most importantly, his abs. 8-pack. A very clearly defined 8-pack, it makes your mouth water just looking at it. Sweetie, Fang Heng exclaimed in surprise, seeing Yang Yan's dazed expression. Oh, if it weren't for Fang Heng's voice, Yang Yan would still be lost in her reverie. Suddenly realizing what she'd said, a blush crept onto her face. What did you just say? I said I'm done showering, it's your turn. Oh, I'm going. At this moment, Yang Yan didn't know why her speech was a little slurred. Glug. Yang Yan quickly grabbed her clothes and awkwardly ran to the bathroom, gently closing the door behind her. Huff. So embarrassing. That situation just now, what was it all for? Yang Yan couldn't understand what was wrong with her. Logically, she shouldn't be like this. She'd encountered similar situations many times during filming, but her heart had never been beating this fast. It was pounding so hard, as if it would jump out of her chest at any moment. Meanwhile, Fang Heng outside, after playing on his phone for a while, got bored. He simply found a movie, lay down on the sofa, and started watching. It has to be said, Yang Tian's shower was incredibly slow. Fang Heng had already watched half of the 2-hour-plus movie, and he still hadn't heard Yang Yan say she was about to come out. Sigh, girls, luckily, Fang Heng had showered first, otherwise, he wouldn't have needed to shower at all. Chapter 95 Night Falls, Emergency Psychological Challenge. Fang Heng, could you get me the towel? Just as Fang Heng was engrossed in the movie, a very familiar voice suddenly came from behind him. It was Yang Yan, who had just finished showering. She was walking towards Fang Heng in slippers, drying her hair with her hands. He turned around. Fang Heng was completely stunned. He looked at Yang Tian. Her graceful figure, paired with a bath towel, and her face flushed after the shower. Ahem, Sister Dawn, here's the towel you wanted, PFFT. PFFT. Seeing Fang Heng's stunned look and embarrassed expression, Yang Dian couldn't help but chuckle. Before, the boys looked at her with infatuation and longing, but only Fang Heng looked at her with a stunned expression, and his eyes looked strangely cute. What's wrong? Yang Dian teased Fang Heng with a smile as she took the towel to dry her hair. What's wrong? Were you amazed by your sweet sister? Am I pretty? By this time, Fang Heng had recovered from his awkward moment. But he hadn't expected Yang Dian to be so direct, pointing it out so bluntly. Shouldn't she have kept quiet about it? Fang Heng said with a hint of embarrassment, "You're a big star, of course you're pretty, tch." Fang Heng and Yang Dian continued talking until after 1 a.m. Fang Heng had assumed that Mr. Jin had already left, but when he looked through the peephole. Holy crap! Holy crap! What kind of person is this? He's still here. This is too persistent, too persistent. Even Fang Heng couldn't help but give him a big "I'm impressed." What's wrong? Is he still there? I guessed it. Looks like you might have to stay here tonight. That guy's too persistent. He's been waiting outside for 2 or 3 hours. Yang Dian sighed helplessly. Sigh, I've heard about his character before, so I was prepared. How about this? You sleep here tonight. It's quite late now. Let's get ready to rest. Fang Heng hesitated for a moment, then thought for a moment and said, Then I'll sleep on the sofa. No way? Hearing Yang Dian say that, Fang Heng's first reaction was one of surprise. Sweetie, you don't mean for me to go back to my place, do you? But you just said, PFFT, Yang Dian was amused by Fang Heng again. You misunderstood. That's not what I meant. You're up so late because of me. How could I let you sleep on the sofa? Fang Heng said seriously. You're a girl. You can't sleep on the sofa. The last bit of stubbornness of a boy. I won't sleep on the sofa either. Who said I'd sleep on the sofa? Then, Fang Heng was completely dumbfounded. Yang Dian wouldn't let Fang Heng sleep on the sofa, and she wouldn't sleep on the sofa herself, so where were they going to sleep? There was only one room and one bed in the whole house. Yang Dian said casually, can't we all just go inside and rest? After saying that, Yang Dian didn't change much except for a slight blush on her face. But, oh, no buts. If you keep saying buts, it'll be dawn soon, and then we won't get any rest. With that, Yang Dian grabbed Fang Heng and pulled him inside. Holy crap! Holy crap! Fang Heng was completely dumbfounded. This was the first time he'd experienced something like this. He had no experience with this before. This was his first time experiencing something like this where the girl was the one taking the initiative. At this moment, Fang Heng didn't know what to feel. He certainly didn't consider himself a jerk, but the current situation left him no time to think. Soon, Yang Dian had settled Fang Heng in, pulling the covers over him. With a click, night fell instantly. After arranging everything, Yang Dian tiptoed into bed. For some reason, at this moment, her heart was filled with Yang Dian, what are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? Fang Heng is a gentleman. He wouldn't do this to you. Besides, wasn't it you who didn't let Fang Heng sleep on the sofa? Where's your confidence from just now? You were so generous just now. How come you suddenly? Her heart was pounding wildly. No matter how hard she tried to suppress it, she just couldn't. Her heart was pounding so hard, as if it would jump out at any moment. At this moment, she could clearly feel Fang Heng's warmth. Yang Dian lay there, not daring to move, as if she was afraid that if she moved, she would accidentally touch something she shouldn't touch. It was as if Fang Heng was a big tiger, and if she touched him, she would be eaten. But Yang Dian still couldn't help but secretly turn her head, wanting to see if Fang Heng was asleep. As soon as Yang Dian turned her head away, she saw Fang Heng looking at her with his eyes open. Why are you staring at me? Yang Dian was like a frightened deer, barely daring to speak. Fang Heng was also incredibly helpless. This was the first time he'd experienced something like this. He hadn't dared to move since lying down, maintaining this sleeping posture. Especially, when Yang Dian spoke, her breath brushed against Fang Heng's face. The scent was cool and fragrant. You're too tense. Relax. Yang Dian seemed to notice Fang Heng's embarrassment and couldn't help but comfort him. Actually, her heart was pounding too. After a while, Fang Heng stopped moving, probably exhausted from shopping. He fell asleep almost instantly. But Yang Dian was different. She hadn't fallen asleep by 2:30. Perhaps her legs were uncomfortable from being pressed down, because Yang Dian subconsciously tried to stretch. But the next second, she immediately pulled back. She instantly curled up, her already unsettled heart pounding even harder. It felt like it was about to leap out of her chest, and her face was burning hot. She felt incredibly uncomfortable. It turned out that when Yang Dian tried to stretch her legs, she accidentally seemed to have touched something. The feeling made Yang Dian feel very uneasy. Although this was the first time she had actually experienced something like this, she had acted in quite a few movies. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 96. What? You actually dreamed about me. After a while, Yang Dian cautiously turned her head away again to look at Fang Heng. Fang Heng was now lying flat, so even with her head turned away, Yang Dian could only see his profile. Tisk tisk tisk, what kind of guy is this? Not only is he so capable, but he's also so handsome. AWW, super handsome profile. It seems like having a boyfriend like him would be a pretty good experience, although he's a bit of a straight man, he's strangely likable. Even those young heartthrobs in the industry haven't given me this feeling, and he has 8-pack abs. This guy is ridiculously strong. With 8-pack abs, his other muscles must be pretty good too, and so, while fantasizing, her heart pounded. She didn't know how much time had passed, or what time it was, before Yang Dian unknowingly fell asleep. He had been waiting at Yang Dian's door the whole time, and Boss Jin had been waiting until 1 or 2 in the morning. He was determined not to believe Fang Heng wouldn't come out today. So he waited and waited outside, until Fang Heng and Yang Dian were going through a thrilling psychological challenge, and he was still waiting. Around 3 or 4 in the morning, he finally gave up. Damn it, what kind of cousin relationship is this? That little guy actually got to spend the night in there. Why? Why can he go in, but I can't? That immature brat, he hasn't even grown his hair yet. No one knew how much effort he had put into this chance encounter. He had used a lot of connections to find out Yang Dian lived here, and even booked a room right across from hers. He thought he had it all figured out, that he could definitely win Yang Dian's heart. But he never expected Yang Dian's cousin to be such a nuisance. Damn it, you bastard. Finally, the boss, Mr. Jin, couldn't take it anymore and could only curse as he returned to his room. The next day, it was past 9 o'clock. The sun was already high in the sky, and the intense sunlight streamed directly into the balcony window. Fang Heng rubbed his eyes, slowly waking up. But he was still groggy, feeling like he couldn't open his eyes. Sigh, never mind, I'll get up first. But just as Fang Heng was about to move and sit up, he suddenly heard the voice of the person next door. No, don't. It turned out that Yang Dian was talking in her sleep. Fang Heng struggled to open his eyes and looked at Yang Dian. She was still asleep, but her mouth was slightly twitching. Her face was flushed. Fang Heng was puzzled. He thought, Sister Dian, what's Sister Dian doing? Is there really such a big difference between women and men? I just woke up straight up. How come when it's Sister Dian's turn to wake up, and there are so many movements? No. Fang Heng can't. For some reason, Yang Dian suddenly became agitated. Even her breathing became rapid, and although her voice was intermittent, it was unusually loud. Sister Tian? Are you alright? Fang Heng was very worried when he saw Yang Dian like this, and he increasingly felt that something was wrong. Sister Tian? Wake up, I'm here, but Yang Dian seemed not to hear Fang Heng's shouts, still immersed in her sleep. Suddenly. No, Yang Dian shouted no, and then her whole body jolted, and she sat up abruptly. Huff. At this moment, her confidence was very unstable and unbalanced. When Yang Dian came to her senses, she found that Fang Heng was looking at her very nervously. You, Yang Dian chickened out instantly, instinctively sitting back. No more. PFFT. Yang Dian blurted out these words involuntarily, but the next second after saying them, she immediately regretted it. She quickly covered her ears with her hands. So it was just a dream. I thought, this is so embarrassing. How could I be like this? Ouch! In that instant, countless thoughts flashed through Yang Yan's mind. But without exception, they were all the reasons why the blush on her face could not be lifted for a long time. Sister Yan, what's wrong? Are you okay? I saw you just now. Before Fang Heng could finish speaking, Yang Yan immediately interrupted. I'm fine, I'm fine. It was just a dream, just a dream. It was a dream, but what kind of dream it was is hard to say up. This made Fang Heng a little embarrassed. But you kept saying no, no, I thought something was wrong with you. Hearing Yang Yan say she was alright, Fang Heng finally felt relieved. But the next second, Fang Heng seemed to suddenly remember something and asked again, Hey, Sister Yan, what were you dreaming about? Why did you keep calling my name? What? Fang Heng, Fang Heng, oh, right, you also seem to say, Heng, no more, are you full? What does that mean? Fang Heng felt Yang Yan was acting strangely. Why would she suddenly have a dream, and even dream about him? More importantly, she was saying things Fang Heng couldn't understand. PFFT, Yang Yan instantly became nervous. How could he hear everything? How could he even hear that? Awkward. At this moment, Yang Yan felt her face burning, and she really wanted to find a hole to crawl into right then and there. Utterly ashamed. Yang Yan's mind raced. How should I explain this to him? I couldn't just tell him directly that I dreamt about him, that he, no, that's absolutely not okay, absolutely not. If I told anyone, what would he think of me? He would definitely think I'm frivolous, so frivolous. Or, Yang Yan thought for a long time but couldn't come up with a good solution. Finally, she could only stammer, well, it's because I dreamt that you made me eat a lot of breakfast. I told you I was already full, but you insisted I eat, saying that eating more breakfast would help me grow a bigger eye roll. Chapter 97, Exoskeleton Armor Research successfully completed, tickets sold out immediately. What? This, how could this be? Fang Heng felt a little confused. This was completely unlike him. He wasn't the type to force people to eat breakfast. But just now, Sister Yan said. Sister Yan, are you sure that was me in your dream? PFFT. Yang Yan couldn't help but roll her eyes. If it wasn't you, who else could it be? Among the people I know, who has stronger muscles than you? Yang Yan subconsciously looked Fang Heng up and down. Let's go eat breakfast, everyone's hungry. Yang Yan didn't want to keep arguing with Fang Heng about this topic. What if she accidentally let something slip? That was no ordinary dream. Eat breakfast, but didn't you just say you weren't already full? PFFT. Yang Yan, who was about to stand up, almost fell off. Good grief. $%. Yang Yan mumbled a few words, then pulled Fang Heng outside. She refused to mention the matter again when Fang Heng asked. It was something she couldn't bring up, mentioning it would expose her. After having breakfast at Yang Yan's house, Fang Heng left. He had serious business to attend to today, to discuss cooperation with the Broadcasting Technology Group. The Broadcasting Technology Group was a medium-sized company in Shanghai, but Fang Heng had his eye on one of its technologies, lithography chip integration technology. Although the Broadcasting Technology Group's main focus wasn't lithography machines, they had a dedicated department for research and development in this area. Their most mature technology was lithography chip integration. This didn't mean Fang Heng hadn't researched lithography machines, he just wanted to take some prototypes back for his company's engineers to study. Also, if any of their engineers were willing to work for Longtang Machinery Manufacturing Company, Fang Heng would naturally welcome them. Upon arriving at the Broadcasting Technology Group, Fang Heng received a warm welcome. After several detailed discussions, not only did Longtang Machinery Manufacturing Company and Guangdian Technology Group reach an agreement on the lithography machine integrated chip technology project, but Guangdian also expressed its willingness to provide support to Longtang Machinery Manufacturing Company in other areas, such as microelectronics and actuators. Finally, Guangdian even sent 2 key project research engineers. This was completely beyond Fang Heng's expectations. After the discussions concluded, Fang Heng didn't hesitate and flew back to Longtang Machinery Manufacturing Company that same day with his technical staff to begin the next round of technological research and development. Fang Heng led the entire R&D team of Longtang Machinery Manufacturing Company in a 3-month intensive research and development effort. Before they knew it, it was July. During these 3 months, Longtang Machinery Manufacturing Company hadn't released any information to the public, nor had it caused any stir in the outside world. Everything seemed like that of an ordinary commercial company. Some people had even almost forgotten the wave that Longtang Machinery Manufacturing Company had caused when it was founded. However, in this peaceful and tranquil July, Longtang Machinery Manufacturing Company suddenly released exciting news. Longtang Machinery Manufacturing Company had successfully developed an exoskeleton armor and tentatively scheduled a public demonstration for July 26 at a large venue in the suburbs. However, due to limited viewing space, each audience member will need an admission ticket. From the date of this announcement, the company will distribute a limited number of admission tickets daily. Admission is entirely based on luck and has nothing to do with bidding, because this time, admission is free, free, free. Important things must be said 3 times. Holy crap, Longtang Machinery Manufacturing Company, I can't believe it. After 3 months, they've finally unleashed another big move. It seems our great Fang hasn't let us down after all. Hiss, 3 months, and the exoskeleton armor has gone from nothing to something. This research speed is just too amazing. What's this? Have you all forgotten that mecha? That was developed by Fang Heng alone, and even then, I don't know how long he researched it, considering he had only dropped out of school a few months ago. From the moment Longtang Machinery Manufacturing Company released the news, everyone went crazy. Within minutes, the news dominated the top of all the major forums. Weibo, Longtang develops armor, Fang Heng unleashes another big move. Zhehu, congratulations to Longtang Machinery Manufacturing for successfully developing the first exoskeleton armor on Earth. Space, after 3 months, the armor reappears. Are you looking forward to the exoskeleton armor proposed by Longtang Machinery Manufacturing Company? In an instant, articles and comments with titles like these flooded all the major forums. I can't take it anymore, I can't wait to see it. Of course. Everything produced by our great Fang Heng is a masterpiece. What, brother Fang Heng, you really didn't disappoint. I'm so happy. PFFT, please, upstairs, speak in a cutesy voice, okay? People might think you're a reincarnated human. Ha. What's even more shocking is what happened on the days leading up to the ticket rush. Half an hour before the designated time, almost everyone was glued to their computers, their eyes fixed intently on the screen. They knew half an hour early was too early, they might have to wait a long time. But what if Longtang Machinery Manufacturing Company released the tickets early? These were things everyone wanted, and they'd be gone in the blink of an eye. Even so, after several days, many people still hadn't gotten tickets. It wasn't that they hadn't waited long enough, or that their fingers weren't fast enough, it was just, damn it, there were just too many people online. With so many people, network congestion occurred. Those who clicked earlier might have experienced delays. Network congestion, you could call it luck. Now it's almost the last day to grab tickets. Xiaodong, why are you here so early? It's only 10:55. And there's still over an hour until 12 o'clock, are you serious? Of course I am. Xiaodong didn't even turn his head, his eyes glued to the computer screen, only saying, you guys all got tickets. Of course I'm not serious, this is my last chance, I have to seize it, I absolutely have to. Xiaodong was incredibly unlucky. He'd been sitting in front of the computer every day for the past few days, but he'd never managed to get a ticket, even his roommates had all gotten them. I can do it this time. Xiaodong made up his mind, even his hand holding the mouse was sweating. Chapter 98, another failed ticket buying attempt, fans break down in tears in public. It was almost midnight, and Xiaodong felt his heart pounding. His whole body was pounding. His hand gripping the mouse tightened even more, large beads of sweat constantly appearing on the surface of the mouse. But, at this moment, he seemed oblivious to everything, his eyes fixed on the computer screen like an eagle spotting its prey. He was fully prepared. At midnight, his right hand would instantly click the ticket buying button. As for the rest, Xiaodong didn't think about it, nor dared he. Tick-tock, tick-tock, his heart raced with a rhythm of time. Suddenly, Xiaodong's pupils dilated instantly, it was midnight. Without hesitation, his hand and eyes moved almost in sync. Click, after clicking the ticket buying button, Xiaodong still stared intently at the computer screen, wanting to see if he had secured a ticket immediately. Hurry up, what are you still spinning for? Hurry up. It turned out that after Xiaodong clicked the ticket grabbing button, The computer screen didn't redirect to another page, it just kept spinning. It just kept spinning. Seeing this, Xiaodong panicked. He felt like he was seeing himself a couple of days ago, experiencing the same thing when he tried to buy tickets. The computer kept spinning, and then it showed no tickets left. At this moment, Xiaodong stared at the message on the screen, "Ticket grabbing in progress, please wait patiently." Xiaodong's heart was about to explode. His mental defenses weren't high to begin with, and he was easily on the verge of a breakdown. A few minutes passed. Although he already felt his chance was gone, Xiaodong still couldn't help but wait. What was even more unbearable was that he sat there, afraid to move, afraid to log out and log back in. Because he was afraid that if he logged out, he would never be able to log back in. Thinking back to how he usually felt when choosing courses, he was in the same predicament. Of course, he usually had pretty good luck when choosing courses, and he was full of confidence, but after these 2 times, PFFT, suddenly, Xiaodong collapsed to the ground, looking completely dazed. No, how could this happen? I was so serious, I prepared so much. Was his hand speed, honed from being single for over 20 years, not enough? PFFT, at this moment, Xiaodong felt completely devastated. He had been holding onto a tight string in his heart, and now, it wasn't that string loosened, but rather, it snapped. Snap, the happiness is gone. What's wrong, Xiaodong? Hearing the commotion, his roommate rushed over and asked with concern. Honestly, Xiaodong's no, just now truly conveyed a heart-wrenching feeling. Gone, what's gone? His roommates were about to ask him what was gone, but then they noticed the screen on Xiaodong's computer desk. It showed the results of his ticket buying attempt. "We're very sorry, all tickets for this event are sold out." Seeing this, his roommates instantly understood. So that's why Xiaodong was so excited. You see, Xiaodong is a serious tech enthusiast. While others might spend a month's allowance on idol worship, Xiaodong would spend half a year's allowance on a tech exposition. And Fang Heng is his idol, and now it's his idol's company showcasing an exoskeleton armor. More importantly, this is the first time such an exoskeleton armor has been showcased on Earth. In an instant, his roommates looked at each other, completely bewildered, not knowing what to do. The key was that they had all managed to get tickets, and saying anything to Xiaodong now felt inappropriate. If they went to comfort him, wouldn't he think they? Oh dear. Xiaodong, it's okay. Who said? Hearing this, Xiaodong became even more unhappy. You already have a ticket, of course you'd say it's okay. No, Xiaodong, let me finish, his roommate quickly explained. That's not what I meant, I just wanted to say, Longtang Machinery Manufacturing Company only said that admission requires a ticket, they didn't say we couldn't watch. Suddenly, hearing this, Xiaodong's eyes suddenly lit up. Right? The armor display location is in the suburbs, and the suburbs are so vast, we can totally watch from the outside, we don't need to go into their setup audience area to watch, right? Yes, we can watch from the outside, that armor must be very strong, I guess we can see it from a very far distance. Xiaodong suddenly stood up from the ground, becoming very excited. His previous listless state had completely disappeared. You guys, just as Xiaodong was getting excited, he suddenly saw one of his roommates holding a phone. A button was displayed on the screen, refund. What are you doing? Seeing his roommate's finger about to tap the button, Xiaodong quickly stepped forward to stop him. But, it was too late, his roommate had already refunded the ticket. Why did you refund the ticket? But as soon as Xiaodong finished speaking, he saw his other 2 roommates also light up their phone screens. You guys, seeing this, a surge of warmth welled up inside Xiaodong, and he became deeply moved. At this moment, his roommate spoke up, since we can see it from outside, it doesn't matter whether we have tickets or not. Exactly. Besides, we're best roommates, the kind who go to the bathroom together. We're just watching an exoskeleton armor demonstration, how can we be separated? Good bro, call me best friend, get lost, ha. Meanwhile, in the conference room of Longtang Machinery Manufacturing Company. Old Wang, how are the preparations for tomorrow's demonstration going? Everything is ready. Tomorrow we'll have Xiandi number 1 demonstrate. It's the most functional and powerful one produced in this batch, but, there's one more issue I need to discuss with you, Boss Fang. What? Fang Heng was somewhat puzzled. There's something old Wang doesn't dare to decide. Yesterday a reporter contacted us, saying they wanted to film on site, but the other party is from overseas. Chapter 99, Exoskeleton Armor Testing officially begins. An overseas person, Fang Heng repeated the question. At this moment, old Wang added, "That's right, that reporter is an overseas person. We've already investigated the specific information. Do you want to see it now?" "No need," Fang Heng blurted out without hesitation. "Okay, Mr. Fang, I understand. I'll refuse her right away and tell the security on site not to let her." Now it was Fang Heng's turn to be stunned. He asked in surprise, "Why not let her in?" But, this is an exoskeleton armor demonstration. It contains all sorts of top-tier technology. If some scheming guys manage to snag it, then, wouldn't that be a huge loss?" Old Wang said to Fang Heng, somewhat fearful and excited. PFFT. Ha. Hearing Lao Wang say this, Fang Heng couldn't help but laugh out loud. "Lao Wang, so that's what you're worried about. What else?" "Boss Fang, this is no small matter. Although I haven't participated in the research of the exoskeleton armor project, I was the person in charge of this project after all. I know it contains a lot of top-notch technology and multiple patented technologies. If all of these are filmed, they have so much free time, let them film if they want. Anyway, they can't learn it." Seeing Fang Heng's confident appearance, Lao Wang was stunned. It wasn't that he didn't believe what Fang Heng said, it's just, as the project leader for more than 10 years, he had experienced too many things like this. "Lao Wang, do you remember the high-energy battery we pioneered last time? We not only let them film it, but we also sold the product to them. They want to copy it? Want to research it?" Fang Heng smiled lightly, showing no concern at all, and continued. They don't have the ability. Forget copying it, they probably can't even see the internal parts. Ha. Hiss. Hearing this, old Wen couldn't help but gasp. It seems he was too naive. I knew Fang Heng would find a way. From mechas to high-energy batteries, and now exoskeleton armor, Fang Heng has never disappointed them. Fang Heng thought for a moment, then smiled and said to Old Wang, "Old Wang, just tell the security at the venue to maintain order and check the tickets. If they have tickets, let them take pictures. Anyway, I plan to widely promote this thing soon." Age 8. Widely promoted. Hearing this, Old Wang was instantly shocked, his pupils dilating several times over. Widely promote exoskeleton armor. This means it's going to be used for civilian purposes. Old Wang was stunned for a moment, then quickly understood. After all, technological research and development is all about widespread adoption. Since it's already developed in a way that can't be copied by certain individuals, what's wrong with widespread adoption? This would actually drive more economic development. Thinking this through, Old Wang immediately understood Fang Heng's meaning and set off to make arrangements. The next day, near the outskirts of the city where Longtang Machinery Manufacturing Company was located. It was only slightly dawn, but the area was already packed with people. The entire vast suburb was completely surrounded. Most of them didn't have tickets, they just wanted to arrive early to get a better view of the exoskeleton armor demonstration. "Hey, isn't this President Zhang? President Zhang, you're here so early too." Ha. "President Li, long time no see. You're not late either." These two often did business together, so even in a sea of people, they could recognize each other at a glance. Mr. Li shook his head and sighed. "Oh well, what can we do? The tickets distributed by Longtang Machinery Manufacturing Company are too sought after. We've been waiting here several times, but we haven't been able to get a ticket even once. We were hoping to get a good spot early, but we never expected there to be so many people before dawn." Mr. Zhang looked around, wiped the pea-sized beads of sweat from his forehead, and said helplessly, "There's nothing we can do. Longtang is owned by Fang Heng, with its high-tech backing. Fang Heng's name alone is very prestigious." Mr. Li, yes, it seems everyone is very interested in today's exoskeleton armor demonstration. I wonder how the test will be conducted, and what kind of demonstration it will be. I don't know. Longtang hasn't announced anything, not even a rumor. The two chatted for a few minutes. "Alright, Mr. Zhang, let's move inside a bit, or there won't be any spots left." Okay, let's go, let's squeeze in." Before they knew it, it was already 8 in the morning. This was the official start time for the test announced by Longtang Machinery Manufacturing Company. At this moment, the audience members who had obtained tickets had a great experience. Fang Heng stood in the center of a stage. There was no host, no one leading the way, but the moment everyone saw Fang Heng appear, they spontaneously burst into applause. Everything happened so naturally, as if it were always meant to be this way. The applause was deafening, until Fang Heng spoke through the microphone. Hello, 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 can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello, hello, yes, I can hear you, yes, I can hear you, brother Fang Heng, why? In an instant, everyone around was swept up in the excitement, with some shouting enthusiastically. Why, Master Fang, I love you, Master Fang is awesome, awesome, voice cracks. Hello everyone, welcome to the exoskeleton armor demonstration specially presented by our Longtang Machinery Manufacturing Company. The demonstration time is now up, so I won't take up any more of your time. Now we will immediately begin the exoskeleton armor test. I am the boss and tester, Fang Heng. Fang Heng had just finished speaking when he saw the staff behind him carrying over a set of equipment. Yes, carrying it over. What's that? It looks like a set of clothes. It's very light, but this is an exoskeleton armor demonstration. Why could the thing that looks like clothes be the exoskeleton armor? Hiss. This is too terrifying. Chapter 100: A Sudden Transformation, Soaring to Great Heights. Fang Heng's men brought out a set of clothing-like items, immediately shocking everyone present. They stared intently, their pupils dilating. This can't really be. It looks like it. Did Fang Heng just say he wouldn't waste our time and was going to start testing right away? Yes. Then what he's bringing out now must be an exoskeleton armor. Holy crap, this is terrifying. Whose armor looks like clothing? Everyone present was utterly astonished. This was too impossible. In their minds, exoskeletons were large, constructed from various hardcore materials and advanced technology. But what Fang Heng had brought out had absolutely nothing to do with those descriptions. Hell, I thought Longtang Machinery Manufacturing Company had made something amazing. That's it. Hell, I don't know what they were thinking. What happened to the exoskeleton armor? Now they can only show us clothes. Humph, shameless. A group of trolls gradually emerged at the scene. They didn't care whether they had misunderstood or not, and the test hadn't even started yet. But when they saw the clothes, they had already labeled it weak. HMPH, who's babbling on like this? Exactly. Don't forget some people are here too, daring to speak ill of my brother Fang Heng. Look at you. You guys didn't even get a chance to see it from the front. Sour grapes. You're so stupid. Someone even brought out a piece of clothing to fool you, and you actually fell for it. Please, use your brain. Exoskeleton armor, this is a symbol of high technology. Look at that, it's as thin as a piece of clothing. You wouldn't think that the clothing can integrate a drive system, defensive hardware, anti-gravity operating system, these things, would you? HMPH. Even if the result isn't confirmed yet, even if it really is just a piece of clothing, I still feel it's worth it, and I believe Fang Heng definitely won't let us down. The audience at the scene was divided into two parts. One part was the trolls, and the other part was the loyal fans who supported Fang Heng immensely. They couldn't stand Fang Heng being criticized, so they actively debated with the trolls, their eyes glued to the front. Although a slight panic lingered in their hearts, they still chose to believe in Fang Heng. Fang Heng, please speak up. You just told us what happened. Is it really just a piece of clothing? Don't worry, even if it is just clothing, we won't blame you, because this kind of thing, exoskeleton armor, is difficult for many people outside, let alone your company. We understand. Why? Fang Heng, please start the test quickly. I don't want them to criticize you, I don't want to. For a moment, everyone present had various thoughts, but most were filled with anticipation for Fang Heng and for the upcoming test. Meanwhile, in the audience, Fang Heng didn't hear the hasty words. At this moment, he walked with a smile to the clothing. Then, turning around, he loudly announced, "Hello everyone, this is the exoskeleton armor we'll be testing next. We've used special materials and super vacuum high-pressure technology to minimize its size. The internal system components and chips are tightly connected, and we've tried to match it as closely as possible to our ordinary clothing. Its thickness is only about 3 times that of the clothes we wear in daily life. A total of 5.3 centimeters. As soon as Fang Heng finished speaking, a murmur of astonishment erupted from the crowd. Holy crap, That suit is actually an exoskeleton armor. No way, no way. Has Longtang Machinery Manufacturing Company's technology reached such an advanced level? They can actually shape such a massive external structure into a suit, and it even looks incredibly soft. How can anyone evaluate this thing? How can something so far away withstand such high pressure and violent impact? If it can't even withstand this, then what makes it worthy of being called armor? I feel like what follows is going to be absolutely amazing. You might not believe others, but you have to believe me. Don't forget how shocked you were when the last mecha appeared. Slowly, most of the audience members became increasingly excited, their eyes filled with burning anticipation. They widened their eyes, craned their necks, afraid of missing a single exciting moment. Now I'll test it. After saying that, Fang Heng went to put on the suit. What happened next was both amazing and astonishing. After Fang Heng put on the suit, it was unclear whether he pressed some mechanism or something else. Boom! A loud bang suddenly echoed across the scene. The clothes Fang Heng had been wearing grew larger and larger, eventually forming a colossal object. To the naked eye, its material appeared no different from before, but the subtle, muscular power and aura it exuded were truly astonishing. It turned out that it only took on its true armor-like form after being actually worn. Holy crap, damn it! This is unbelievable. This thing can transform? Ha! I told you, Fang Heng never disappoints. That outfit was just its normal form. Look at it now, who dares to approach it? It's definitely a top-tier power level being. Hiss. At this moment, everyone present, whether critics or Fang Heng's loyal fans, involuntarily gasped. To be honest, they were genuinely shocked, or rather, terrified. This is unbelievable. Damn. Developing an exoskeleton is already amazing, but I never expected the team led by Fang Dashen to actually split it into two states, and achieve such a natural transformation. Fang Dashen is awesome, Fang Dashen is awesome, voice cracks he. I wonder what those guys who were just talking bad about Fang Dashen would think if they saw this scene now. Stop talking, they're already repenting. End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all. See you in the next video.